Today on the show, March Madness. Baseball is going to end its spring training soon. F1 goes to China. And the NHL and the NBA continue their push towards the playoffs. Hello and welcome to the House That Happens, sponsored by Schuey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke. Voted 4 times the best dive bar in all the GTA. It's number 1 in our hearts, the Phoenix rising from the ashes. Hi, I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz. How you doing, buddy?
Good, yourself?
How was your week? Very good.
Very busy. I'm happy it's the weekend.
Yeah, well, it started off good because we never got to say anything about it, but it was St. Patty's Day. We did point that out last show,
I don't know if we did. Happy St. Patrick's Day, belated St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, and I want to shout out to the people at Timothy's. We went by in the afternoon, and it was such a traditional St. Patty's Day. It was amazing. All those girls got up and did those dancing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, they went from the young, and some of these, I didn't get their names. I said I would shout out. They're going to competitions like in Dublin and somewhere else.
Oh,
like
good
these
for them.
girls, yeah, they put on those Irish music, and they weren't Sammy Davis Jr., but they were pretty badass. So shout out to Timothy's for a great St. Patty's Day.
Shout out to Timothy's. I will also shout out Humber's men's basketball team winning their 8th national championship. A 76-70 overtime win against Durham, who defeated them in the provincials. Malik Grant MVP and head coach Omar Miles, his 4th season as head coach of Humber, already his 2nd national championship. Already a Humber legend. I pointed that out on Instagram. I commented, and he was actually nice enough to comment back and saying thank you for the nice words.
That's a beautiful thing. So how long is he going to last at Humber? With that record, he going somewhere else?
Oh, he's got the... what do you call it? The lifetime contract or whatever now, basically. As long as he wants to stay, the job's open.
For sure. Oh, yeah. Well, then it's personal preference. But usually when you get coaches on this level that have that much success, someone comes hunting for him.
Usually.
Yeah.
We'll see, though.
Good luck to him, and good luck to the Humber program. Yeah. Amazing.
Humber is one of the best coaches, or whatever, best programs for college basketball, so we will see.
Great.
But obviously, another notch on the belt for Humber, and we'll be going to the end of the year award banquet for Humber. Looking forward to that. Another great season for the Hawks.
Amazing.
That's basically the end now for
yes.
them, yeah.
That's pretty well. Spring is coming. Spring is coming. All the schools will be out. Speaking of St. Patty's.
Spring is sprung, has it not?
Yes, it is. What am I saying? Speaking of.
Happy spring.
I forgot to say, since I meant to bring up St. Patty's Day, it was kind of neat that the Players' Championship had a playoff on Monday with Rory McIlroy and that Jason Space guy, whatever. Felt sorry for him, man. He was in over his head. And you know how it ended, right? 16, 17, 18th holes are the aggregate score for the Players' Championship. And everyone knows the 17th is the famous, Jason put it in the drink hole.
Ooh.
Okay, so that's exactly what happened. But in any event, it was kind of neat that Rory McIlroy winning the Players on St. Patty's Day, the good Irishman that he is. So congratulations.
Congratulations, Roy, for winning the Players. We'll be keeping an eye on the PGA Tour as we go to the Masters, which is in about a couple weeks' time.
This is what's so cool I like about this time of year, okay? Because it opens up where you go from the tournament to the Masters, and in that time period, baseball season starts. So it's a good time. Yeah, continue.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Also, a big shout out to Jack Draper and Andreeva for winning Indian Wells. Andreeva defeated Sabalenka in 3 sets. She got smoked the first set, but then came back 6-4, 6-3 to take it. And Draper won in straight sets 6-2, 6-2 against Rune.
That was interesting. This, what's her name, Ariva, the girl with the cutest nose on the planet. Vicious nose of a pit bull. I always say that. Don't let that nose fool you, people, because and you know what? You know, obviously she's been on a training program, because last year when she was trying to get into the finals, I think when she played Sabalenka last year, Sabalenka looked like a beast compared to her. Mm-hmm. But obviously she's put some size on in this over the season and coming in. I know it's not so much at the Australian, but she's still working on it. But should be interesting. I don't think she's going to win the French, but on the rest of those hardcore for the rest of the year, because it's a huge win for her.
Yes, absolutely.
Huge. I think it's the biggest win of her career, isn't it?
I believe so. This is what was it, the 1,000 ones or whatever they call it?
Yeah. So it's
a step below the Grand Slams.
Yeah, like so to speak. Congratulations.
Well, we've seen was it our very own? Oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. She won the U.S. Open. What's her name?
Not Coco Gauff.
Canadian. That
won. And Bianca
Andreescu. She won Indian Wells, and that kind of started an upward trend for her that season. So maybe could be the same for Andreeva.
I hope that we see some of Bianca this summer. Come on back, girl. We thought we were going to have a good Canadian woman competitor for years, and what happened? Come on back. I know it's injuries, nagging injuries.
Everyone loves a comeback story.
shouldn't be coming back at this age.
Well,
you should be pushing your
it
career.
is what
but
it is.
We're cheering for her. That's all I'm saying. Here
Absolutely.
at the house, we're cheering for you. Come on back, Bianca.
Any shout-outs anymore?
Yeah, I got a couple. One big one I want to shout out, and I noticed this because everyone knows I'm a March Madness guy. That's what everyone said. I got about 3 phone calls on the afternoon, and I actually answered all the calls. And
Wow.
half the time, I don't know where anyone that's listening, like, I don't know where my phone is. It's turned off. I turn it off for the show, and sometimes I forget to turn it back on for 3 days. Oh, yeah, I got to turn my phone back on. But in any event,
It can make for some interesting planning for our show when I'm trying to reach you.
There you go. That's just the way that I am. But in any event, everyone that called, they knew, well, Cruz is going to be at the tournament, which I was. I was sitting here at the first game at the first time. But anyways, I want to shout out to all the old school coaches that showed up in suits. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up on that. It's going away because everything's casual in the world today. You know what I mean? But back in the day when they came out for NBA, but especially in college, all those guys came out in suits. And some of the old coaches were really funny. Like the Patinos come out and they look gangster. Mm-hmm. Then you get the guys like old John Thompson, and his suit's still wrinkled because he left it on the floor when he fell asleep on the way to the game. You know what I mean? So it didn't matter. You know, you got that different nuances about wearing a suit, but the fact that like they were going to work, get in your suit and tie, and away we go. So there was a few of them. The Missouri coach, even though he got knocked out, the Ole Miss coach. It was 5 or 6 guys that come out in pretty badass suits, and I said I was hoping Izzo would come out in a suit. He didn't. Calipari did, but Bill Self didn't. Maybe he didn't. That's why he lost at Kansas. I don't know. But a shout out to those guys who are holding down old school traditions. I like that because by the time you get to my age, the stuff that I'm talking about is going to be obsolete.
Yes, you are old, as you like to say sometimes.
Yes, not real old, but I mean in context of what we're watching, and you start seeing history, you go, yeah, I've been around a while. You know what I mean? I've been around a while. I see a lot of old highlights. You know what the difference is, too, as you're getting older? When you're young and you always show these old highlights, why do they show that shit anyway? That's pretty damn old.
Who says that?
I mean, when I was a kid, like, you know, when I was a teenager and they'd show, like, Mickey Mantle highlights and stuff, I used to go, really? What? That's pretty old, or Willie Mays shit. But now, you know what it is? The quality.
It's history.
Yeah, and I'm glad I'm looking at it now because I look at it even more. But I put it in this context. The quality of recording and saving material is so much better. That it looks better. You know, even though when you look at 70s baseball games and hockey game tapes, they still look pretty rough. They still look...
But everything up to HD looks pretty rough.
Yeah, exactly.
Even some 90s hockey basketball stuff can look pretty rough sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Can they remaster that shit? I don't think so.
You can maybe upscale it a little bit with AI, but it's going to have a little bit of a weird look to it.
Keep AI out of it. Trying to keep out of AI.
It's going to be good enough eventually where you won't even be able to tell. But for now, it's still a little... I wouldn't do it yet.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep as much AI out of my life as possible because I don't like to be fooled. I can be fooled easily. A lot of age.
AI is a tool. I mean,
I know if it's no. The significance of it cannot be understated. Mm-hmm. However, its use sometimes can be faulted.
Always double check what output you get with AI.
Oh, I don't.
Always double check.
I'm going online less and I'm scrolling faster.
Okay.
That's what seems to be the word.
My next shout out is for a PC game my brother introduced me to called Puck.
Really?
It's a first-person hockey game. So you basically, all you do is you just see your stick, and it's like a keyboard and mouse game, so you're controlling your skates with the keyboard and your stick handling with the mouse. Cruz, it's the hardest game I've played in my life. Stick handling.
Where do you get this?
It's for free on computer.
Yeah.
If it's on Steam.
Can I get it on my tablet? No, I need.
I don't think so. You need a computer.
Okay, I'm gonna get a laptop.
It's on Steam. If anyone knows what that is.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my friends to play in a big game of it, just because we'd all be horrible and that'd be just like a complete mess.
It'd be like playing road hockey for a while,
except worse.
It was worse. Okay, what's wrong with that?
I'll be the true stay-at-home defenseman, stay on my blue line the whole time.
You know what? A couple of beers and some additives and sitting down doing that sounds like a lot of fun, especially in the first person. And that's all you got is your stick, right?
Yeah, that's all you see.
Sounds interesting. It sounds like they advanced it from something like Call of Duty and that. You know, those ones were one.
Yeah. But this is like it's very like rudimentary, the graphics. Like it's free, so I mean you can't expect too much. But still very fun. That I'm the king of hitting the crossbar when I shoot. I've noticed.
Okay, that's good.
You really have to like follow through when you like shoot with the mouse. It's crazy.
Well, I like that idea. It's like when you played the old golf games. If you didn't follow through, your drive didn't go. So it's the same shit. It gives you a sense of reality about what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or it gives your virtual players some presents. Is that the way to put it?
Yeah, I would love to see Cruz back in the day going up on Tiger Woods on the Xbox.
Oh, I was crazy in those days. I used to spend mad hours, then I put it away. Just because I wanted to play guitar. And I've noticed that I wasn't playing guitar. I was always on, but I played Tiger Woods. I'm scared to get it. Like, I was thinking about getting another game console in my...
Like a PS5 or something?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing it, but then I go, should I, shouldn't I? I don't know. I doubt it, but some games, and I love golf games. Yeah. So it would be great, yes.
Do you have another shout out? Because I got one more.
I got one more too, and it's kind of a very sad one and something talking about old and being around for a long time. We would be remiss if we didn't shout out to the great George Foreman.
Oh, yes.
Who we lost yesterday at the age of 76. George Foreman was, in my opinion, probably everything good and everything ugly about boxing. I'm not going to say bad because he didn't really have anything bad to do, but ugly in the sense that he got tricked by Ali, didn't show up for a long time because he was so mad, and came back. And if you look at him, he wasn't a skilled fighter.
He was more of like a brutalist kind of guy, yeah.
Yes, and he could hammer you, and he could take a shot. Like, and as I was telling you pre-show, my first vivid thing of George Foreman was when I was a kid, is when he won the gold medal at Mexico in 1968, and he went around the ring with the American flag and bowed. At that time, I did not understand the politics in the world because politics pollutes everything, even back then when I was a kid. But it was in response to Carlos and Smith, who were doing their
the Black Power salute.
Yes, yeah. Which I thought afterwards had to be done too. So I don't know who was right, who was wrong. It just made things a little ugly at the time. But the fact that not only that, then George Foreman went into the entrepreneurial business. He'll be known just as much for making, what is his burger machine?
The grills, yeah.
The grills, the George Foreman grills. I just heard Shaq just say, he talked to Foreman about entrepreneurial skills because he goes, you're not going to play sports forever.
Yep.
What do you do with the money?
What's next?
What's next? And George Foreman was good on that. Not only that, but now look back at it. Foreman's history. He was in some of the most interesting fights of all time. First of all, he put Joe Frazier into submission.
Yeah. Every time like old school boxing comes up with like my mom, she always mentions Ali and George Foreman.
That's a crazy fight. Yeah. That was a crazy, what was that, the Zaire, right? I believe that was in Zaire. In any event, Ali just tricked him. Let him swing until his arms.
Is that the Rumble in the Jungle?
Yeah, Rumble in the Jungle. Yeah. Ali just, and they've shown films of it now and you remember it. Because I remember watching it because we had to go closed circuit, was it? I forget where we had to watch it. But in any event, I was worried about Ali early in the fight because Foreman was just
pounding him.
Just wailing on him. And the whole time, what you didn't know, Ali was talking to Foreman. Is that all you got? Is that all you got? And that started getting into Foreman. Like, that's how good Ali was. And Ali had contusions on his ribs after the fight because he got hit so hard.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, he had some contusions. And that's why Ali took some more abuse than he did. But he just wore Foreman out. And notice they never had a rematch. But Joe Frazier was already a beaten-up man from those first couple of Ali fights. And then he went into Jamaica. And I always say, styles make fights. When you thought George Foreman was fighting Joe Frazier, even though Joe Frazier was a champ at the time, you said, no, this can't be good. This can't be good. And Foreman got beat into submission. I mean, Frazier got beat into submission. But the funniest fight for me, and I remember of George Foreman when they was making the big comeback. You remember Jerry Cooney?
No.
Jerry Cooney is, once upon a time when I was your age and younger, in the boxing world, they were always looking for this thing called the Great White Hope.
No.
Okay, so Jerry Cooney came in, and he was like a guy he was like a Rocky. He was even from Jersey or some shit. And he came and he started knocking out tomato cans, just killing guys. And Cooney was George Foreman's size. So then they went to fight after Larry Holmes took care of Cooney because he was not good of a boxer either. The hype in Vegas to have a fight, and they had George Foreman fighting Jerry Cooney. And I remember it was so cool because one of the writers came up with the line, "The geezers fighting in Caesars." I wish I created, because they're both like 40 years old by this time. Like they were all getting up there. And I think that was the last time Jerry Cooney fought. If you see, remember that's the one they showed first away, pounding him into submission, which kept putting George Foreman's legacy up further. And when he knocked out Michael Moore in the last round, when Michael Moore won the whole fight, was ahead in every card, and he was laughing at Foreman like, "I told you I was going to beat you." Bang! Unconscious. So anyways, George Foreman has a heightened presence in the history of boxing in the world and especially in America. Rest in peace and condolences to his family.
All right. And my last shout out is something being saved from the dead, Cruz. So we talked about the Coyote versus Acme movie. It looks like it's being saved. Catch Up Entertainment stepping up to buy the movie's rights from Warner Brothers.
Okay, I seen something go by on some guy was talking about films. Is that what he was talking about? Is that one company buying it out? Like, don't you have to buy the intellectual property?
No, well, Warner's always going to own the Looney Tunes rights themselves, but they're selling the rights to this movie specifically.
Oh, so they're going to do it, are
Yeah.
they? That's what the guy was talking about. I just heard something about the Coyote. Actually, it was Gail that pointed out to me where they're saying. But that will be great.
Yeah, I still got to see, there was another Looney Tunes, like it was a cartoon movie that came out this year, the day the Earth blew up or something. I heard that was very good, so I want to watch that. But this Coyote versus Acme movie, I'm just really excited it's being saved. I thought they would never see the light of day. I'm a big fan of Will Forte, who plays the Coyote's lawyer in the movie, so it's going to be a good time.
Look in front of one of my TVs right up there. I have the Coyote on his rocket.
There you go.
Got to have the Coyote. Got to have him around. He's the anti-hero, isn't he? Compared to my love for Snoopy and the other guys, but come on, the Coyotes, it was highly entertaining. What would we do without him?
Coyote Roadrunner, that always causes debates in our house because my parents don't really have time for Coyote Roadrunner. I think they're hilarious.
Oh, were your parents the ones that started to say, I don't know if I want my kids watching this?
No. They're just saying out of all like the Looney Tunes characters, that was like on the bottom of the totem pole for them, or near the bottom.
I heard a number of people were saying that are a little younger than me because they said, "Come on, it's mindless, it's senseless."
I disagree because it's new creative ways for Coyote to fail.
Exactly, and they tell you try harder.
Exactly,
try harder next time.
And each time got more and more ridiculous.
Yes, but you look at, you know what I like the fact he wasn't a quitter.
Yes.
Remember that about the Coyote was never a
even
quitter.
though he maybe should have known when to quit at a certain point.
Then we wouldn't have the show. You know what I'm saying? But no, man, I know, and I've even had things where I've heard people that are talking my age and a little bit younger say that's a problem with the world today, letting our kids on Saturday morning just get up like all of us got up and just watch pure massive violence. Because those cartoons like that and Popeye and Space Ghost, and I'm going, I never thought about any. You told me I was supposed to
Space
think
Ghost,
like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was a Space Ghost guy. And
I'm more of the Space Ghost talk show that they did later. I thought that was funny.
Okay, I didn't watch much of that. I just, because I like the Space Ghost had the wristbands. And he had that cool spaceship, and he had a monkey, so he was pretty cool. But in any event, I don't know the psychology of where people say, like, when they go back at Looney Tunes and they discuss how that's disturbing for children. It never entered my mind. And if you look at how sanitized in the 90s and early 2000s, even though violence is coming back in a good way, you would see all these shows, and they were a little bit sanitized. They still had the flash, but they took out the violence. They took
not necessarily the violence, but
just
like
the gratuitous stuff.
It was like there were no guns. Everything was like laser guns and whatever. Like the Spider-Man, X-Men shows that I watched as kids, like it was all laser guns that the cops had.
Okay, so you know what really changed it for me, and we'll get off this really quick, is when seeing the Ninja Turtles, the original movies, okay?
Yeah.
The very original movies, okay?
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
What am I going to say?
That the second movie, they replaced them with toys that they were fighting with?
Basically, like, remember they're fighting there, all of a sudden
because the first movie is like pretty gritty, and then the second one they're like beating bad guys up with toys and shit.
Yeah, with sausages and all kinds of shit. And like I didn't know that way. Then I realized, hey man, they are playing with us, the kids, right? Like, and I went, I thought, like, I don't know. You know what? Sometimes I think the worst enemy is people telling you what to think. If you didn't bring it up, I wouldn't notice it. That's why sometimes it never enters my mind, because I'm not thinking about that. I'm there for the sheer entertainment value. Oh, is this what you're getting out of me to entertain? Now, I'll argue about Sesame Street till the cows come home, because that, to me, is a bit of a colossal failure on so many levels.
I don't agree with that.
I'm just joking. But I mean, like, the characters there, if you want to compare to, like, what characters do what, go back to Sesame Street, which is considered one of the greatest educational television shows for children of all time, which I agree with. When you talk about the counting, the arithmetic, the morals, the values, I mean, the characters are a little bit crazy, but so what?
Let's have some fun.
Because it was like Sesame Street's in your neighborhood. What do you have in your neighborhood? That's what I thought about. There's going to be somebody,
a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah, there's going to be something crazy in your neighborhood. There's going to be the nice neighbor. There's going to be the neighbor that takes care of their plant. There's going to be the neighbor that walks a dog. That could be me. So I get that. You know, but I'm just saying, don't sanitize it, because what you're doing is, it all comes back to being subliminal. Don't tell us what to think. Let us learn first.
You know what happens, though? I will say this. When kind of like things are put on, like limits are put on, like let's just say we're like, oh, you can't have this, you can't have that, whatever. The creativity will always push through, and sometimes you'll actually have something that's more poignant because of it, because you can't show something.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like the Batman animated series is kind of notorious for that, because like they weren't allowed to show like gunshots and like blood or whatever, but sometimes because of that they have something instead, and you're like, whoa, that's way more powerful.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Where people are working around their limitations, but.
Well, that's the favorite thing, is because what you're talking about is they're deviating from the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have progress unless you deviate from the norm. So, yeah, that's all good. We'll be like that, The House That Happened. And Frank Zappa, you told me that when I was very young.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of people being inspired by their limitations. You hear about that with people making early video games, too.
Yes. That's the number one thing you hear about the video game thing, like what they went through. A lot of smokers in that room, though. Remember I said
of a certain herb.
Yes, we all found out later. A lot of those guys in those video game rooms were like,
especially at Atari. That was like a college campus atmosphere.
When I heard about that, and I said, well, it can't be all bad. Those guys made those games. Well, it's not working right now. Let's go outside and have a puff and come back in. So remember, I always told you about the focus part of that. I believe that. I believe that sincerely. I read about that. Was Atari, and was it Coleco too?
Probably.
I read an article about that a long time ago, and then one of the guys said, well, every time we got puzzled, we did this. What? I was like, okay, I got it, But in any event, like you say, I like your thinking. If you got to dig deeper to find a way to get people's attention and create more, it's amazing. That's why I'll say one thing about A1, and then we'll get on to the show, is that I was telling my son the other night about Red One. I'm still on that movie because it was so cool, and not a lot of that was AI generated, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was AI or just computer generated stuff. Maybe they use AI. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it, but
you did end up seeing the movie, didn't you?
No, I think I'm just gonna wait till next Christmas.
Okay, might as well wait now. But wait till you see it next Christmas, and you're entirety. You're gonna say, "Cruz, you're right."
Okay,
you're right. Like this is, you know what I mean? So.
Red One is on the list.
Yes, definitely. Anyways, we're all here for creativity. We're all here for positivity. And we're all here for moving forward, which is what we're going to do right now, correct?
Yes, we are. And we will take this into the NFL, where we just, not too much to happen this week, except for the Bengals signing their two big receivers to some big contracts. Jamar Chase, 4 years, $161 million, $112 of which is guaranteed. T. Higgins, 4 years, $115 million. I'm assuming around 80 is guaranteed on that. I didn't see the actual number.
It's around 80, maybe 90. I forget the number. It's less than 100. But anyways, isn't this interesting? Because they're both 3-year contracts, right?
4 year.
4 year, okay. Both of them are front end loaded. The salary cap's expected to go up, next year and the year after, exponentially. So you think Cincinnati will be able to pull this off? Because if the cap doesn't go up enough for the next couple of years, just think
what about them this coming season? What space are they going to have to...
They got to hit in the draft.
Oh, boy.
They got to hit in the draft.
There's a lot of teams saying that, though. That's the problem.
Some teams seem to be able to do it because it's like we've talked about. It's true. Don't pick the guy who's the most flashiest. Pick the guy that fits your system. That's what you should be.
They need to improve that defense big time. Well, that's
what I'm saying.
Because they were leaky as fuck last year.
So what their whole thing should be doing is they should pick up every unsigned draftee and anybody that ever said they could put their head through a wall. Mm-hmm. Bring them to camp. Like, you know what's going to be? I'm going to be watching the draft much differently this year than I've done other years. I watch it closely, but I'm really going to see how these teams draft. I don't always pay attention to it because it's just a draft. But
in terms of like what positions they draft,
I'm going to look. I want to see what Cincinnati does in the first 3 rounds of the draft. Mm-hmm. What do they pick? If they pick another wide receiver or
they're stupid
corner, then I'm just going to do that. Now, if they picked up an old lineman, okay. So now it's interesting this way.
O-line, D-line, they should focus on.
Okay, definitely D-line, if anything. But here's one of the interesting things that came up in all of this, and I'll let you continue. And I don't mean to say this because it's Detroit bias, but a lot of people said, "What did Detroit do?" Okay, they let a couple people go. They signed a couple people that were okay, that fit into the team. But it's like this, okay, we got a team and we're already signed. We're in salary cap, good space. We still have some money left over. Rumor has it, what are we going to, our first two, where we are in the draft, we're taking an O lineman and a D lineman because we got an extra guy in there from that. So look at that. What are we drafting for already? We're not talking about getting another running back or a wide receiver or anything. We're going to go O-line and D-line, whatever we get in the first 2 drafts. I think that's great thinking on the part of the Detroit Lions. Oh, by the way, and where did Holmes used to work for?
Holmes.
Whatever his name is, the guy that's the general manager of Detroit Lions. Where did he come from?
Was he a New England guy?
He was a New England guy. Okay, go on. Anyways, it's going to be interesting because you know what it's going to say at the start of the season next year? If they got one more guy to sign, what it'll be, 40% of Cincinnati's salary cap will be tied up into 4 players.
Oof.
Something like that. It's insane. When I heard
for a
the
53-man roster.
For a 53-man roster, I think that's going to be like almost 40% of their roster. Wow. Over 30, definitely. But close to 40% of their roster be tied up with 4 guys. Now, do they have to hit in the draft?
Oh, hell yeah.
There you go.
Wow. Good luck. Good luck, Bengals. I like Joe Burrow.
They're going to be fun to watch play, though, with that offense.
They were last year, too.
Right. So
not for always for the right reasons.
They'll be on national TV a lot.
Vikings also committing to McCarthy as their quarterback. They're not taking offers on him anymore. And so by nature, they're also letting Aaron Rodgers pass through, who he himself had a meeting with the Steelers this past week at their facility, who I think they're going to sign him.
Okay, here's the great enigma. Aaron Rodgers dances to his own beats. We know that.
Yes, he does.
Hayward, hear what Hayward came out and said?
No.
Come and sign with us or don't dick around. Because Aaron Hayward, the defensive guy in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm getting late in my career. I'm getting wait for this. Like, you know what? Do we know what it is to be a Steeler? You either come here or you don't. Because Aaron Rodgers was on some retreat or something. You couldn't get in touch with him. His phone was off. Whatever Aaron Rodgers does, which is interesting. But I'm saying when you think of all this quarterback thing, we haven't seen J.J. McCarthy play in the league yet.
No, we haven't.
Okay, so now everybody's saying, well, he's Bo Nix. What's the guy's name? Your guy in New England?
Drake May.
Drake May. They go, oh, he was in there. He was in this. He was this capability. We've seen those guys on the field. We haven't seen J.J. McCarthy on the field, and he's coming off pretty serious injury. Mm-hmm. So Minnesota, and I've already explained to everybody, we will not have those gaudy records next year, by the way. Everybody in the NFC North, I'm predicting it
because
now.
of the Matrix, because of the scheduling this year.
Yeah, you got it. We played 2 of the worst divisions in football last year, so that helped. But, I mean, I'm saying right now, and I said it the other day, and Brady, if you're listening, because he's a Viking guy, and some other guy was Chicago, and we were talking about it, I go, if you win 11 games in the NFC North next year, you could win the division. Oh, that means you're going to be 11-6. I said, was I stuttering? I said, it's going to be that tough. If you win 11 games, and what, you don't think Chicago's not going to get better?
Well, there you go.
You know what I mean? And we're all going to sweep Chicago too? No, it doesn't work that way. So, like, when you got those gaudy 15, 14 win seasons, they all coming back to the pack, people. Mm-hmm. Just because when you look at it like that.
Anything else for the NFL?
Just wanted to say that the NFL is so good at keeping everybody interested in what they're doing all the time. You know what I mean? They will throw, like now we got the Aaron Rodgers thing to deal with. Like, is he going to come back from the retreat? Is he going to be not? How many other teams need a quarterback? The big thing that I was talking about is, we're talking about the combine and the rumors and the agents. And Mel Kiper, who's supposed to be the big guy.
Yeah.
They were talking about the shift in how people are going to draft in the draft already, which is what, 20 days away? Not even? 15 days away?
Yeah. Isn't it like the 20th or something around there?
Yeah, somewhere around there. In any event, one of the things we were talking about there that I brought up is they were saying, what agent is saying to what teams to generate what rumors so certain players will fall to a certain spot? And I remember we were talking about that.
Yes.
I heard them talking about that. One, I think it was Mel Kiper said, and you got to remember this agent could come along and say this to this team, and the other team he's saying you got Snow White. And I looked and I said, that's a real thing. And I guess because everything's there's so many social media, there's so many podcasts, there's so many people talking that reality comes out a lot more these days because it happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Abdul Carter. This guy should be the number 1 pick in this draft, bar none. Already they're talking about he might fall to 7th or 8th because people scrambling to get quarterbacks. But one of the things that Mel Kiper was right about, he predicted Bo Nix would go that high. And when the draft started, Bo Nix was supposed to be a late first rounder, early second rounder. Mm-hmm. And Sean Payton fell in love with it and jumped on him. He's saying the same thing about the Ole Miss quarterback who's suddenly racing up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but it's interesting because everybody needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
So how true is it? Let's just go back in the last 6 or 7 years. Let's go back to the Josh Rosen, Johnny Manziel. Look at all the quarterbacks taken that year. Where are they?
Yep.
Most of them are out of football. Part 2. Jameis Winston just got signed yesterday to the New York Giants. Basically, it'd be what? The backup to the backup?
Well, who's even going to be the starter there?
Well, we don't even know because Aaron
Russell
Rodgers
Wilson,
said no.
if...
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting. And let's take it one step further. After Jameis Winston was drafted, like we said in the show before, who was the number 2 pick? Mariota. And what's he doing now? He just signed as a backup again in Washington. So be careful what you wish for. And the draft is a crapshoot.
It always is.
Okay.
We'll take it from one crapshoot to another with Formula One as Lando Norris won the Australian Grand Prix. Max and Russell completing the podium. Kimi Antonelli shining in his debut. Other rookies struggled. Hadjar crashed in the formation lap.
How do you do that?
What about Helmut Marko saying him crying after that was embarrassing?
I agreed.
Oh, come on. It's an emotional moment for him.
I would have been pissed. I would have been stomping around like a freaking pit bull trying to get out a piece of meat. I'm not.
Helmut Marko's got to shut up about his guys, though. He also said Liam Lawson was.
I don't want that.
Hold on.
I don't want that.
He also said Liam Lawson was like a B-level driver. It's like, what are you doing, buddy?
Okay, now that's just looking for trouble.
But it's all part of the Helmut Marko experience.
Okay, so then I can't let this. I don't know. Now, don't make me sit on the fence with this mofo, okay? Because you got some good points here. But
yeah, I think you're the only fencer because even Red Bull fans can't stand this guy.
But I'm saying,
like, what are you doing, buddy? You're throwing your own guys like under the bus here.
Okay, but maybe that's inspiring to make them get up there. Lots of coaches have done it over the year, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going there. However, if I'm doing a crash and it's on my first thing, okay, you do get emotional, all right?
It's your first race too.
I'm more pissed.
Well,
I'm never going to be in that position.
Crying is it's emotion, right? It's coming out. So maybe it
First
probably was anger. That was in there too, I bet.
Okay, but anyways,
I loved Anthony Hamilton going there to console him. I thought that was a class move by him.
Okay, I get all that. You're probably far more empathetic to this world than I am, for sure.
Thank you very much.
You were brought up properly. I'm not saying that I wasn't. Just got a little
empathy is sorely lacking in this world.
100%. I will not deny that, and I'm trying to improve my empathetic quotient as I get older. Okay, so let's just get that straight. However, if you do something like that, I know it's got to be emotional to a point. I don't want you crying. If he had to come out and threw his helmet, I'd have been happy. No,
that'd be way worse.
I want that kind of fire.
Yeah, but that's being a little bitch.
I'm not touching that right there.
Crying,
the B word. No, stop it. You're just setting me up to get myself in trouble.
You want to pull Lance Stroll and push his trainer?
No, I don't want that either. But I'm just saying okay, first of all, the subject is whether or not the guy should have said anything about the guy crying. That's the main
Helmut
question.
Marko should just shut his mouth.
Okay, I agree. But the fact that he said it, he's saying is, you know what? Maybe he's going to play in that kid's mind for time to go. Is all that stuff he's going to play? I don't know. I was kind of going, don't cry, buddy.
I know. There's a reason why Red Bull has had trouble developing drivers. And I think Helmut Marko probably plays
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Exhibit A. You know what I mean? But anyways, he wasn't the only kid that screwed up early.
No, all the rookies basically did.
They all had their issues, so I didn't.
Well, I mean, Behrman finished the race at least, but
yeah, barely.
Well, the Haas is a wheelie bin.
Well, the whole thing about that guy just had a rough first week.
Yeah,
all the way around. You know, but he'll be. Look, where is he today? He's in the. Didn't he get close?
Yeah. Well, let's finish with Australia though. Obviously 1-2 McLaren, basically all race except until that one point where the track started to get wet. Both guys went off. That kind of started it, but then eventually the Piastri just kind of went off on that. Was it the second last turn?
Yes.
And then that almost cost him his race. It was a miracle that he was able to recover the car.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. And
I thought he was done.
Oh, I thought he was done too. And you know the important thing that getting on, you see, that's what I like about a guy's intestinal fortitude. This year in Formula One could be the tightest one in years. Just look what's happened in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, every point's going to count. So he had the moxie to get the car back on the track and get a couple points.
Yeah,
that could mean something in September. You know what I mean? So
sure,
because
or down the road in December. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but I'm still saying this, and we said this we were doing a bit of a preview on the F1. These McLaren guys do weird shit, man. They do weird shit. No,
a few of those accidents could have happened to anyone though.
Well, because look, you said the rookies wiped
wet
out,
track,
but we had two veterans, Sainz and Alonso, both because of the rain went off the track, and you can't say those guys are amateurs by no mood.
No,
but I did hear that Sainz was saying there was a braking problem with the car. something went breaking on it, but he didn't say it out too loud because that's a secret. You don't want you to know what your car's doing, right? But there was a handling problem of some sort that ended combined with the weather, with the wrong tires, because it was all about the tire management at the end, which made the race very exciting when you think about it.
Yeah, because a bunch of guys went to the slicks, then like it started to get wet again, so they had to go back to inters, and Ferrari fumbled the bag there. They were in first place for a little bit.
Huge, but they had when they had to make that decision, he who hesitates is lost.
Yeah.
You know, like what if they had gone right in and changed right then? Because they had the first opportunity to go into the pit, and they could have come out, and they said no, they gambled. Until Lewis said, well, unless you want the car on the side of the wall. Yeah. Which is unfortunate.
Speaking of Lewis, he's getting the Ferrari experience already with the way too much the information overload that he was getting.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. Leclerc had the line of the race, though, where they're like, something's leaking. Oh, it's from the water. And then the engineer's like, oh, must be the water. And then Leclerc's just like, oh, put that with the words of wisdom.
Yes, exactly. You know what I mean? It's kind of interesting. Like, everybody can hear what everyone's saying on the radio, say?
And they're not allowed to swear anymore. Remember that.
Okay.
On the radio.
But don't you think that's just what makes this sport more interesting to me? Because then nobody's hiding from nobody. You know, so if you're saying something, like if Max is saying something about his car, the guy in last place, the guy in first place, everybody's hearing it. So can't you have a personal moment to your driver? Isn't there an extra earplug where you say something like nobody hears? That's pretty crazy.
Well, people will send out like fake things out there on there too because that's.
Oh, I know that. I've heard that. Like, yeah, they'll say they're going to do this or something like that to try.
They say like they won't pin that at the last second. Like, no, come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I heard that they have catchwords.
Oh, of course.
They have catchwords when they're saying, which I didn't get. What's the catchword? Oh, if the guy says a certain sentence, it's going to sound like this to you, but the driver knows it means this, which makes it more cunning, more intrigue, much more than F1 there, because this was a crazy race. And one of the things I told you off the air, which I found interesting, is how accurate these guys are about the weather. Like when Oscar did his little spin, and that they said it's going to rain on these 2 laps, and what did they miss it by? 2 minutes? Like, think about that. They said these it was like 34, 35. How long's a lap? A minute and a half? 2 minutes? Okay. Yeah. So they missed it by half a lap. And I'm looking at this. I even rewound it because I had a PVR to check out this. I'm going, what kind of weathermen do they have? I want that guy every morning to tell me what to do because it's going to rain on. They missed by half a lap. So what's that, 2 minutes? Come on. That's insane. And sure enough, and you know what? It was smart because Max, I'll give Red Bull their management, and I'll give even McLaren, and I'll even give those Sauber guys. That's how they come up, because they were the first ones to get on that bandwagon. Like Hulkenberg, he's an experienced driver. He was the first ones in there because didn't Alonso wipe out because he had his slicks on, Stu? He was going to come in. He was going to come in to change them. Didn't get in time. Yeehaw. Away you go. What a feeling it must be in those cars, eh? If you're on the slicks and you start sliding.
Oh.
And
I've been go-karting on slicks in the wet, and it's not fun. I can only imagine what it's like in an F1
at that
car.
Speed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, because once you start sliding, it's all over. It's like Coyote in the Acme gear. Yep. No way to stop this shit, man. It's going to happen. And you know what I do see them do, though, is I heard them, they sometimes they hold the wheel real tight. Is that for the impact thing? So it won't
if you hit, like, get into an accident, you're actually supposed to let go of the wheel, but...
Okay,
because you could break your hands.
Okay, but I got that. But I mean, when do you let it go? Because sometimes when they say you go in, like they said, Alonso, the way that he went into the wall, he made a maneuver at the last second would be less damage to the car. I didn't understand. I didn't understand how he said that. And then they showed up.
Well, maybe you try and go in an angle where there's like less impact or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he was explaining that, and I was going, how do you do that? That's like sliding on ice. How do you control anything once you're sliding on ice? But he says if you hold the steering wheel a certain way, that then that gear isn't moving. And the car is moving as a body, so to speak. It said, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess it's like driving on ice where you want to, like, turn into it, right?
Yeah, something like that. That's what I heard, but I never understand it. And I'm going to tell people right now, every week that I watch F1, I learn something different. Like, what an amateur I really am to this freaking sport. It's unbelievable. But I love the minutia. I love the fact that everybody was scrambling for the tires. I remember them all coming out, watching very closely about the tire management, when they would put them on, when they didn't. And that was a huge effect on the race, like with your Ferrari boys. It's like we're saying. So, but the ending was great, especially last 6 laps, because everybody was going for it. Max, I don't know. He doesn't have the fastest car, bro.
No, he does not, but, I mean, it's still Max. Red Bull's always going to be at least somewhat competitive.
Very much so, yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not really worried about him too much right now. Lance Stroll somehow managed to finish 6th place in this race. That was maybe the most surprising result. If it wasn't for Hülkenberg finishing 7th.
Agreed. But you know what? Another tricky thing I noticed? How they dance around the safety cars.
How so?
Okay, so all of a sudden the safety car comes in. What position are you in? Are you allowed to slip into the pit and come back out with the safety car? Sometimes you come out, you make your move then. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But when the safety cars, like you see some maneuvering and then those guys get up and then they get another crack to get at the other guy. Because they keep going around. Like, how much gas is in the car? That's another thing. The safety car was around. They went around like about 4 laps with the safety car. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that affect your gas mileage?
Yeah.
I wonder about shit like that. Because one of the safety car things, they went around about 4 times. One guy got on and got off, which is legal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like some of the maneuvers they make during the safety car thing makes a difference. That's what they say that why Hülkenberg got up there. He made some moves during the safety car thing that I still don't understand, but he went in the pit legally and he came out because the kid got in trouble, didn't he?
Which kid?
Antonelli. He got in trouble for doing something during the safety car move that you're not allowed to do. I forget what it was. It cost him 5 seconds at the end of the race. And I still don't grasp what it was.
I thought they took that away.
Oh, did they took it? They went after the race.
I think so.
Because once I seen the standings, it looked like he moved back up.
Yeah, I think they took that away.
Oh, so they took that away. See, I didn't even understand when they were doing the replay. See, F1 won. What did he do? We're going to give him a 5-second penalty. I can't understand what he do. Oh,
Either way, Antonelli was very impressive.
Oh, I'm blown away. I'm blown away.
No, he's the real deal.
Old. Oh yeah, you know what I mean. Like I'm totally like, and all the other rookies were wiping out. Everybody had to do with these crazy conditions. However, they said in the past, what are they? The F2?
Yeah.
They said he was known for inclement weather driving then. That's which I found to be an interesting point. They said this could be to him because some guys like Max knows what to do in the rain. Like certain guys, Lewis Hamilton knew what to do in the rain. You know what I'm saying? So they said this kid's experience on the way up is probably a little deeper than we realize. I wouldn't know. I'm not watching him. I'm just saying he's 18, and look what he did. With like there was 6 guys out of the race by what? 4 guys were out in the first 7 laps, and 6 in total.
Well, Hadjar didn't even make it to the first lap.
Well,
Bortoletto was out early. Sainz was out early.
Yeah. Like they were all out. So by the end of the race, so what? The last 6 guys or 7? 6 or 7 cars were gone.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so Doohan was another one. He was out basically on the first lap as well. Fernando just made it like basically just past halfway. Bortoletto, he made it a little bit later. Him and Lawson basically out with like 10 or 11 laps to go.
And they're both like dumbasses on the track. That's why they were in the position that they were in. They both made dumbass moves. You know what I mean? Because what did Lawson end up being?
He didn't even finish.
That's what I'm saying. He got nothing. He was off in the other car because that guy that got through, but I heard that his car was running on fumes anyway. Because sometimes you have a little handling problem, but that late in the race, why waste it? Go get your points kind of deal. I understand that too, which, wow. Crazy ass race, so a good way to start the season.
Yes, sir. Zach Brown saying Max will leave Red Bull for Mercedes at the end of the season. I thought that was very interesting.
It's like that guy saying the other guy was crying. They all throw shit out there to start grief. You know it. Just to start rumors. I don't like dissension in the other guy's place. Come on.
I don't know. I come from like the hockey thing of like you don't talk about another team's guys, so I don't like that.
I agree too, but why do you think he's doing it? Because there's only 20 of these motherfuckers. So that's just causing sheer anything you can do. I'm going to tell you one thing I learned about F1. Nothing's fair. Nothing. You know what I mean? There's other rules in other sports that you just wouldn't do. These guys are going to do it with like talking about another guy's. Oh, Max going to Mercedes next year. We're in the second freaking race of the year, buddy.
I know. We got 22 of these left to go.
That's Zach Brown, baby.
Yeah.
That's Zach Brown.
What about, do you see the Drive to Survive thing? I guess he's buddies with Kopitar. They don't have him the identifier isn't Anze Kopitar, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, LA Kings captain. No, Zach's friend.
Stop it. I got to see. Is that the new season?
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched it. Okay, I'm going to go
Anze Kopitar, Zach's friend. And you know what's ironic too? Box to Box Productions, they make the NHL show as well.
Thank you.
So this is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. If you're a hockey fan, this should really fucking upset you.
I would be too. I want to go see that. That's bizarre. How can you say that? Like, what is
Zach's friend?
Zach's friend. Look at Kopitar's possibly a Hall of Fame guy.
100% Hall of Fame. He's a slam dunk.
Okay, then Hall of Fame guy. Zach's friend.
Zach's friend.
That's Zach Brown. Like I always like the guy because
and Zach Brown's wearing an LA Kings cap too in the part, which is hilarious. But
really,
yeah.
Oh, that's made for television. 100% made for television. I bet you were looking to see guys that actually give a reaction. And I bet you Kopitar went out with his beer and giggled and goes, that was pretty funny. But come on, it does. When you hear it like that, you go, whoa.
Oh, I bet you a bunch of whoever watches F1 in the King's dressing room is giving him a little shit.
Oh, yeah.
That.
When he came in, there's somebody saying he's not getting away with that. Hey, you're Zach Brown's friend. Oh, I'd love to be in the dressing room for that. It would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're obviously in China now. Lewis won the sprint last night. Qualifying wrapped up in the wee hours of the morning. Piastri will be on pole. I believe it's Russell in second. Right now, we're watching the replay right now, actually on one of the famous 4 screens here in the Chaos.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Piastri, Russell, and Norris are the top 3, if I recall.
So Max didn't even get in the top 3, did he?
It looks like he's going to be starting 4th.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's on track here.
Well, the great thing about it is that everyone said was Lewis Hamilton's first race for Ferrari was it what was it the grade on it, and the grade was all over the board. Oh, it could have been better. Oh, is he getting used to the car? Blah 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 blah. And then when it comes out in the second week, nothing to see here, which I think should be the name of our show by the time we get.
Well, I mean, he's
nothing to see here.
Starting 3rd row, but whatever, we'll see.
Well, because
I still think Leclerc's gonna have more points than Hamilton by the end of the year.
Well, who's their number 1 driver?
I think it's Leclerc.
I think it is too, but they're not going to say it.
No, of course not. None of these teams say it, except for maybe Red Bull, but
never entered my mind. You know what I mean? No, I know what you're saying, but I thought the great thing, because I'm not no great Lewis Hamilton fan. I'm just like you have a resume like he has, and everyone's going to question what you're doing. How did you leave Mercedes? Blah 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 blah. And he comes over here in his first week. They go, oh, and what's he now? 38, 39?
Yeah, but
they brought up his age. Oh, the new team, the new feeling, different steering wheel, blah, blah, blah. So we get to the second week. What does he do? Starts out by winning the sprint.
Yeah.
In China. So that means he's going to be a competitor in this race. So all these guys in front of him better know what they're doing. Maybe the Ferrari will have the pace during the race. I don't know.
We'll see.
But look, they're all looking like they're going to be there.
Yep.
And Leclerc ain't going to be, he'll be in on it.
Yeah, of course he will be.
I just feel bad that our Gasly guy has a shitty car.
I know. I thought Alpine would be a little bit better this year.
No, he got a shitty car.
Yeah, he does.
That's a drag, because we're not going to get to see him anywhere near a podium. I want him. You know how I want
unless
to see
a miracle
him come
happens again.
I want to see him come out in a podium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Snoop Dogg.
We'd also be remiss if we didn't talk about Eddie Jordan, famed former F1 owner. He died at 76. Was famous.
God bless him.
The famous yellow cars that they had is actually the reason why DHL changed their color to yellow.
Really?
So they were always yellow. They had the thing where they were the snake car one year. They were like the Hornet car one year. Like some of my favorite F1 liveries. But one year they had a deal with DHL. At that time, DHL's colors were white and red. And they demanded that they were like, okay, if you want our sponsorship, you have to change your color to white and red. But the problem was they had to deal with another team they're like, no, you have to keep your colors to yellow. So what Eddie Jordan did, he made a presentation to DHL. He shows like white van, white van, white van. He's like, if you change your color to yellow, you're going to stand out more.
Bingo.
So instead of like me changing for you, he's like, no, you're changing for me.
No, smart move. That's why a very successful guy.
And I think it worked for DHL too. So
I heard them talking about this guy's a huge figure in the racing field.
Yes, he is.
Because everyone was giving him props. Everybody was there. You know, he just died last week, right?
A few days ago.
Yeah. Props. Even I seen they put it on this thing when I was watching, because I got the Sky TV, so I get to watch. From the beginning when they're just a lot of time walking around doing nothing. But he got a huge shout out, condolences to his family. Huge figure in the F1 world.
Absolutely. Anything else?
The weather's supposed to be fine in China this weekend, right?
I believe so.
So it should be okay. Now the only thing I hear about this is that it's another track that got resurfaced.
Yep.
So what? They got 20 different
just another
tires.
wrinkle in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, like they make a point of it. Oh, so what? Well, like that's what I don't understand as an amateur F1 guy. So what? They change. You still got the same different tires. What, the tires going to be different on this road? Maybe, I don't know. And then they give you what the stuff is made out of. Like, does that make me any smarter? Peruvian rock mixed with some Turkish glue, and you throw in a little sand from Etobicoke, and you do it at this temperature, and you got a new layout. Like, you hear when they talk about that shit? That's fucking chemistry. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit.
Well, some people do.
No, I know, but we see that's why I say I'm an amateur, because then that determines, that's why they have the qualifying, that's why they have the testing. Everyone gets to feel the track. And then a driver comes off, and says, yeah, it does feel different, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So then I'm an amateur.
We'll keep this moving into college basketball. We are in the start of March Madness, and my bracket is already starting to look a little bit messy. I don't know about yours.
Okay, first and foremost, I want to say that, is this your first bracket in a long time?
Probably in like 5 years.
Okay, so you haven't done it in a while.
This is the first time I put like serious research into it, though.
That's a good thing.
So for each team, I took their top 6 players. I determined how many freshmen, sophomores, junior, seniors, and grad students were in there. And I have each team's strengths and weaknesses, so I went off that.
You know what? You did a good job. So anyways, here's what we decided that we were going to do. So if you look into the pool, it says the house that happens. We have an entry there. And my good friend, Mr. Milani, got a little bit worried because he picked Clemson, which I said, why did he pick Clemson? I took McNeese to go 2 rounds by.
I had Mizzou going to the Sweet 16, too. In
that hurts. I had Mizzou going around, too. I was surprised that they got beat. But I
had Marquette going to the Sweet 16. They lost.
I didn't have them going that far, but they lost, too. And I thought Marquette would be enough. That was one of the best games against Ole Miss, right?
No, they lost to New Mexico.
Yeah, that was one of the best games of the tournament so far. No, I'm just glad because remember I said, well, I'm going to check to see what you did, and then I'm going to balance it with mine. And I never touched your card because once you decide to put it in, that's your card. That's going to be the make of what we're doing. Now, did I do a couple of things on my card different when I seen yours? Yes. You didn't take Michigan, so I did. You did.
I took the upset that everyone else took, which probably should have been a red flag, but
no, because what you did was that was a tough game like that. Like if you're going to understand this about the tournament right now. Why 12s beat 5s? Very simple. The committee goes to look on teams that they can pick on, and they put them in that position. Like look at 2 lost, 2 12s lost. Okay,
2 12s won. You
2
mean
12s won again, and every year there seems to be one. 1 year 3.
Usually there's one.
Yeah, usually there's one. In the last 10 years, only 1 year 12 did not.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, the 12 didn't beat a 5. But I'm of course the 5s have a much better record over the history of the tournament in the last 40 years. That's a gimme. But when you look at these teams and how they were set up, first of all, Michigan played that San Diego team.
UC San Diego.
Where was the regional? About 10 minutes from that place where they were playing against. So basically it was a
like a home
game for the San Diego team. Number 2 was Michigan did win the Big Ten championship. But everybody knew coming down the stretch that Michigan looked rough going in. So now you look at it. Now the tournament starts. Wisconsin, Purdue, Illinois, Michigan State, all those teams that they beat, guess what? They all got a higher seed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what they were saying. So they were setting up Michigan for failure. Guess what? They got by. Number 2, Memphis.
Ooh.
They've been a little sloppy coming down the stretch. I liked them back in January, but a couple guys were hurt. Well, they brought the couple hurt guys back yesterday, and they were a little more hurt than I realized, and that was it. I almost took them, but that was another one. Colorado's on a freaking heater right now.
Colorado State, yeah.
Yeah, Colorado State. They're on a heater right now, so you're going, oh, gee. So they're going to throw Memphis out of buzzsaw.
I had Memphis losing in the next round anyway, so it's
not
that
okay.
big of a deal.
Yeah, that's the thing is you don't have them going more than 2. So there's the other one. Now you get to the other 12. McNeese and Clemson. To me, Clemson was the most overrated. How they got there, I don't know. ACC, who did they beat? Oh, they had a strength of schedule, blah, blah, blah. McNeese is another team coming in hot, scoring like crazy. Clemson plays slow. Perfect example of, oops, there it is. Let's go home. And what's the other 12 and 5? But
yeah, that was the big knock on Clemson, that they were untested this year.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. And they play slow. When you play slow, bad things happen to you.
True.
And then the other one that I got burned on just because I hate Oregon. So I thought Liberty was a hot team coming in, and Oregon looked terrible.
I have Oregon going to the Sweet 16.
That's not a bad thing. They killed this Liberty team.
A lot of experienced guys on that team.
Very much so. And you know what?
I think they're going to smoke Arizona.
Oh, let's bet a beer on it. I'm taking Arizona. I almost took Arizona to go to the Final Four.
Really? Whoa, I thought you hate Arizona.
I do, but I took a little deeper at what they're doing, and I'm going, oh, they're scary. Because they always seem to be a team that's around every year. Arizona is a known.
They never really like.
But they get to Sweet 16s a lot.
Aren't they like, I don't know, my research, my cons on them are lax identity and average squad. They seem to, against the
They
tough,
get this far.
Yeah, they seem to be one of those teams like against the lower competition they do well, but once you go against the big boys, they start to struggle a little bit.
I agree, but if you go back...
and Oregon, I think, is a tough team, so...
Okay, but if you look back the last 20 years, let's see who got to the Sweet 16 more times, Oregon or Arizona. Not even close.
Throw that out the window.
There you go. But this is a new year.
Yeah.
So new things are going by. But I'm saying
Arizona's had better teams in the past, though, than this.
Oh, yeah, they have. But this team took a long time to get going, and I think that they're going to percolate. I think they're going to beat Arizona, and then you know what would be great? When they beat Duke. Because Baylor's going to beat Duke. And remember earlier in the year I told you about that Mitchell guy?
You think Baylor's going to beat Duke?
I'm going to say when they beat Duke, don't be surprised.
I have Duke losing in the Elite Eight.
I hope they lose yesterday. Did you hear that pick? I hope they lose yesterday. Anyways, think about Baylor. Remember earlier in the year when we first started talking about basketball and I go, this Baylor could be a sleeper team. And then they lost a couple and they got nervous. No, they're dogs. They're dogs, but they're young.
I actually learned Baylor's one of the 5 schools that have won the men's and women's tournament.
Yep.
And not bad for a football school.
Well, one of the few football schools, but they're one of the ones that. And where's Baylor?
Texas.
Yeah, but in what city?
Houston?
Dallas.
They're North Texas. Okay.
Yes, they're money. All them money schools in Texas, they do good things. But I'm not Duke. That's a huge upset. Will be a huge upset. Okay,
yeah.
But. I like the Mississippi teams too, but
Ole Miss?
I mean Mississippi State. I thought about that. You made me change my mind because I thought, is Mississippi State going to do it? When you took Mississippi State, I said, great, I can take Baylor now because that was one of the ones I was worried about because I liked Baylor earlier in the year, but towards the end they look kind of and that's that coach. I got to start writing down all the coaches' names because coaches coach a certain way coming in, and Baylor, I thought. The coach out-coached the Mississippi State coach coming down the ends and maneuver he made and stuff like that. The thing about Baylor is, I wonder if all these guys are staying, like that Wright and a couple of those other guys. They're young and crazy, but like you say, inexperience sometimes burns you in the tournament. But what's Duke got as an experience? 4 freshmen?
Exactly. That's why I can't have them going to the Final Four.
No, I know that. I wish I was in on the...
Me and you saw
Pick.
our
I
conversation.
wish I had come in there at around for that thing because I'd have been saying some shit to Pick because I don't think Duke's making it. And everybody's kissing Duke's ass.
Everyone's giving me shit for picking Auburn, too, to win it all.
I'm nervous about that.
Who do you have winning it all?
Houston.
Oh, that's right.
I had Houston, and I was going to be Houston and Florida. Florida's going to be tough to beat.
I have Houston losing in the Elite Eight.
And the problem with Houston is they might have one of the toughest brackets to deal with. Because look, they're
going to play Gonzaga next round. That's not going to be a cakewalk.
Gonzaga.
They're fast. They play fast.
That's okay. Houston plays fast and tough. So and whenever
listen, I got Houston beating Gonzaga. Like I'm not gonna.
That's good because I thought Gonzaga was gonna lose in the first round. And
no.
I did too. And now they've got some record for first round.
They're
wins
fast and they play defense.
And Georgia fell down. Yeah. Their defense isn't that great. Houston defense is better. I expect Houston to win going away in the second half. Like I expect to be tough because once again Gonzaga's got those 2 white dudes shooting from everywhere and they're not bad shooters. That's going to keep them in the game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But
Gonzaga's tough too.
What's that?
Gonzaga's tough.
I don't think they're as tough as people realize. Like everyone's going to say they are. But if we're looking around in today, what happened after the first day? There's going to be some interesting things to go for the number 1 teams. Auburn beating Creighton. Creighton's at like. I was up and down about them. I'm glad.
The only Blue Jays they're going to win this spring.
The only Blue Jays, point well taken. But they're big and they're experienced, and they got a coach, McDermott, who's a big-time attorney. But then they're going against Perlman, who's a coach of Auburn, and that's old school because a lot of people saying this is the tournament of coaches.
In what way?
Well, right off the bat, Self was against Calipari, and Calipari won, so he's around. The Patino and his son is around.
Okay.
Bruce Pearl, that's doing Auburn. Rick Barnes in Tennessee, he's been around forever. He's another one of those coaches you talk about. Izzo's back in the making, and we all know about Izzo. Hurley won around in the first for Connecticut again, so he's talking about it.
Yeah, I'm upset at myself for not choosing Connecticut there.
I don't think I did either.
Mind you, like they're probably going to get their asses kicked by Florida, but still.
That's going to be an interesting game. I picked Oklahoma too just because I'm sick of UConn. But the bottom line is to win 3 in a row. Nobody's got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on their team. No one's got Bill Walton on their team. This ain't going there. So I think they're going to be done. And that was a dogfight for them to beat Oklahoma. And they put it in the way in the last 5 minutes with their experience, I thought. But that number 1 is going to be interesting. Auburn playing Creighton. That's going to be an interesting game. Duke playing, like I said, Baylor. If Baylor beats Duke, I'm not going to be surprised. Now you got Gonzaga against Houston, and you say if Gonzaga wins, you're not going to be surprised. So everyone,
I didn't say that. I just said they're going to give Houston a tough time.
Yeah, and UConn against Florida.
Yeah.
So
Florida, I was very tempted to pick them to win it all because they would be going. I have them in Auburn in the Final Four.
Yeah, I do. No, I don't have them. What do I have? Do I have them in the Final Four?
I have Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Wisconsin as my Final Four.
I think my Final Four is Houston, Florida, Michigan State, and Alabama.
Michigan State.
Yep.
Really?
Yes. Even though it took them a long time to get going yesterday.
And Alabama, interesting.
Well, you know why I took Alabama? Because I hate everybody else around there. Basically, it was Duke. Fuck Duke. Okay.
Yeah, I know you have no love for Wisconsin, Big Ten rival.
And you know what? I had to go against the V schools. St. Mary's, Vanderbilt. I took Vandy. St. Mary's beat them, but not by much, so they're not going anywhere. But I looked at that.
I think they're going to get smoked by Alabama next game.
I do, too. And Alabama took a long time to get going. This Robert Morris school was like crazy. And we were making jokes about it. Me and my buddy Cobb, how you doing? Great day watching the tournament, getting out and about. But I was saying about some of these schools, like, go look at them. The Woffords, the Robert Morris, these type of schools, Lipscomb. Go see what type of schools they are. They're paying money. Everybody, all the kids are coming to school in Mercedes. Enrollment's about 8,000. But it's like you look at these schools and you go, these are old school. Like,
yeah.
I said, where's Wofford? And I said, Wofford's so old they had Civil War money. And he goes, you're joking. We looked it up. When did they open? 1854.
Stop it. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I just look around. Look around, Vanderbilt. Look at these schools. It's all old. And they want to win because this is a traditional thing. Every school, and that's what I like about the traditions in soccer overseas. When it comes to the tournament, anybody, if you're any school in America, you got a chance to win the national championship, just like in soccer. You know, everything. And it doesn't matter where you're from. And I like keeping that door open because everyone loves an underdog, correct?
Yep.
So but some of the schools, when you get in there, some of these schools are just pure old money. Makes me laugh. Like I looked a few of them up. 1854, 1861, and look at the places they are in the country. Like,
yeah,
that's like having the green belt. Every university's got their own green belt around the property that they have and everything. But it's kind of cool that they get there. They're never going to win a national championship.
Might make a Final Four if things go. They hang a banner for that, right? So that's a huge achievement.
And a couple other teams there. But just to get in on those levels, those schools, like compared to the enrollment, you go, you made it. But probably one of the reasons that Humber is so good, too, because your enrollment's pretty damn high. So you can track a lot
of money.
Yes, that's more money than ever.
I know the new rules on international students is well, I mean, they're just probably going to charge more to the to students here, but either way. Anything else for college hoops?
Just want to remind everybody. What was I going to say here? Remember when they're watching the games, I was telling some guys the other day, just because it says Southwest, Midwest, or East, look at the cities where they're playing.
Well, that's just where they're playing the games.
Yeah,
the regions. Yeah,
the regions are just named because when I said to somebody the other about the Michigan, and I was talking to a guy, he goes, hey, man, Michigan was playing. I said, I told you yesterday, remember, just because they're the favorite, look where they're playing. Because that's like a lot of schools were playing, especially those underdog schools. 3 or 4 of them, I didn't realize, when they got put in their area, they're like an hour from like an hour's ride. So they can draw a bigger crowd, which makes better for TV.
Sure.
And the interest in like that. And I think that's what makes another reason that makes March Madness so good, because they changed this you probably didn't know this, about 15, 16 years ago. They changed it to be that way because sometimes you get a team that's going west in a small school. How do you get everyone across the country?
Yeah. So
if you put this over here and it doesn't matter where it's the west, it's located, and everybody's playing the same spot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it should be good, which is interesting because I'll end it this way. How in the hell... It's not the West, but it's in the South. There's a possibility that Michigan could play Michigan State in the Elite Eight. You don't think that was made for television? And even though it's down south, it doesn't matter.
Well, you got to go through Auburn first.
Yeah, they all got to go through Auburn. And
you guys got to go through Auburn to get to that point.
Yes, we do. And after here, and then look we got to face Texas A&M. Iowa State looked great. Remember early in the year I was talking about them, and then I jumped off their bandwagon?
I have them losing to Ole Miss.
What's that?
I have them losing to Ole Miss.
I think I've got them beating Ole Miss, if I remember correctly. But anyways, your card's not out of it. My card's not out of it. We'll keep you informed. Keep watching. Should be coming on anytime.
And best of luck to your Michigan Wolverines. I know they're actually one of the teams I have for an upset this weekend.
That's good. Oh, I guess my McNeese guys have met their match already.
Yeah, Purdue's smoking them. But Purdue's
a sleeper.
True. Okay. We'll keep an eye on that throughout the rest of the tournament, and we will move it over to a little bit of MLB action, not too much, because our full MLB preview, I guess we'll just throw it into our show next week. It'll be one big MLB/regular show with a couple of special guests.
Yes. Andrew B.O.H. Freeman and Mr. Kevin Pick.
I can't wait to let Andrew B.O.H. know about his Varsho take from last year.
Oh, we'll get to that. And we will be at San Fran.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Back at San Fran.
Can I just say before we start the baseball thing, did you hear about this? I thought it was really cool because we're just going to say a few things about it. The Angels have a new cell phone policy in the clubhouse.
Yes.
I think that's kind of cool. And Mike Trout's the sheriff.
Is he really?
Yes. Now, it only starts, it's only a $500 fine. Okay. But Washington said back in the day when he was with Texas.
Ron Washington, yeah.
He said they had this rule back in Texas, and didn't they win the World Series one year? Whatever it was.
They probably made it to the World Series.
Yeah, whatever. They were back-to-back years. I think it's interesting in this way. Clubhouses are supposed to be sacred. You know what I mean? And with the social media and all this shit there, it's a focus on your team. Mm-hmm. If I was in my team, I would do that for any sport. I would, okay, guys, no cell phones. NHL dressing rooms, no cell phones. Mm-hmm. Anywhere. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Guys should just be able to sheriff themselves on this, I believe. Why not? They're adults.
Nah, don't work like that. Why do you think we have criminals? Okay, it's that simple.
Okay, but these are professional athletes.
So what? No.
I don't know.
You got to be told what to do sometimes. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I respect it at one end, and then at the other end, I think it's also a little bit ridiculous.
Because you're young, that's why, and I don't think that way. Like, what's Lonnie? At least Lonnie playing for Montreal lately. Sometimes I think he's on the bench on his cell phone.
Well, he had a little bit of a video game problem. We know that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So come on, let's look at it this way. I just think it's a good idea in context of keeping your team focused. You're in this clubhouse or what? Okay, sometimes guys are there isn't that a sacred place?
Yeah, but I can't check on a text if I get something from my wife or something.
No, they said emergencies. If you want to get on your phone, you leave the clubhouse.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, leave the clubhouse. Go somewhere else. Go to the washroom. Go to your car. Whatever. I think it's just a good concept for the focus aspect because there's too many distractions in the world as we speak.
Sure.
So that's all I'm saying.
Brios is going to be named, or is named, opening day starter for the Blue Jays.
And I believe that should be it.
Scherzer's thumb not recovering well. That's another red flag building up here.
Oh. Did you hear his explanation, too? If you grip the ball with your thumb a certain way and it hurts, he says it puts a strain on my shoulder. That's how I got injured before.
Oh, boy.
Keep it in your thumb, because when you start talking about your shoulder, then I'm going to be real worried.
Yes, sir.
And he hasn't pitched in what, a week?
A little bit over a week, I think.
Well, yeah, maybe 10 days. So guess what? We won't be seeing him until freaking May as a starter, which is a red light as we still got 5 starters. And all the other guys have looked good. Even Gausman's looked a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm still worried about him tipping pitches. So we'll see how things go once we start the season. Aurelvis Martinez option to AAA Buffalo to start the season, just as I thought he would. Unfortunately, hopefully he's up by mid-May. Hopefully he's up by mid-May. I'll continue to bang that drum.
But let's hope that the team's hitting so well they don't need him.
A little extra bat wouldn't help.
No kidding. What are we going to do with this Straw kid? Does he make the team?
He's the center fielder.
Okay, so let's talk to the elephant in the house. Who's fucking playing defense for this team? We're 5 days away now. By next week, we'll see a lineup.
I think we know. I think we can guess who it's going to be. Third base, it's going to be Ernie Clement.
Okay.
Second base, it's going to be Jimenez, the guy who can't hit.
And what is Clement at third base? We're hoping he hits.
He could be pretty good.
He's been okay in spring training, but that's another thing.
That's spring training. We throw that out the window once the season starts. And then outfield, Santander, Springer, then hopefully the Straw kid.
Okay, but so we're going to put Santander on the outfield?
It looks like he's going to be left field. If he can hit, that makes up for his defense.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I think the Jays, especially with the way they were last year, just worry about the batting lineup, figure out the defense later. Because we sacrificed too much offense, man.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Because remember, we got rid of the 2 guys, and we're like, oh, fuck, should have kept them.
Yeah, no,
Is this a little bit of an overcorrection? Maybe, but you had to do something.
Okay, I'm with you there, where I'm saying put all the bats in the lineup, and we'll worry about the defense. So now we've got the biggest conundrum ever. Varsho's got some weird injury, doesn't know he's going to play defense.
And he's not going to be DHing to start the season.
No, that would make me, that would be the biggest
red flag. Well, that was the rumor for a while.
Our Gold Glove center fielder who can't hit is suddenly going to be our DH.
Has he even won a Gold Glove?
Yeah, Varsho's won a Gold Glove.
Has he?
Yes.
Did he win last year?
Yeah, he won the Gold Glove. He's a Gold Glove guy.
Okay.
But I mean, putting him at DH is like asking,
makes no sense.
No, yeah, asking the Coyote, what are you ordering for Back-Me? Can you tell us today? That's how I felt about when I seen that shit. I went, come on, really? Which tells me you got now. When we do our preview, I've been going through this, especially through the American League East. Don't believe everything you hear. Don't, because all these teams that are supposed to be way better than Toronto, we'll get to that next week. And here's the caveat to start with. What do the Yankees do open day? Start with a bullpen? Starting a bullpen day?
We've seen it in the playoffs, so why not?
Opening day, New York Yankees went to the World Series, favored to win the American League East. Who's starting today? Oh, we got a bullpen day.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
We got a bullpen day, opening day. Help me out.
Do you win the game or not? That's what matters.
Okay, did you see the Boston Red Sox rotation? End of story. So we'll talk about it next week.
We'll
got lots to say to go about that.
I think the Red Sox are the favorite to win the East.
I say nobody's a clear favorite now because, first of all,
okay, if you had to pick.
Right now?
Yeah.
Who is going to win it all? The division?
Yeah.
Toronto Blue Jays.
I wish I had your confidence.
I'm going to tell you why. If the pitching holds up, and it looks like we got just as much. Who's got more pitching than us in the American League East? So we're going to talk about that next week, so we're not going to beat that horse today. But when I bring it to the table and you look at it, now, can all those teams hit better than us?
100%.
Okay, we got some issues there. We got
and don't underrate the part of Tampa Bay playing in a minor league ballpark.
Oh, wait, let's keep
the ball's going to be flying.
And oh, by the way, did we even bring up Baltimore yet?
No.
Okay, so next weekend we got a lot to talk about.
Baltimore,
well, we got next
we'll see.
Week. Well, that's why we're going to have a preview because we have lots to talk about, especially American League East. Hope you guys are hearing about that. One of the things that's driving me crazy when they talk about this, about who plays where and what's going on is I'm really believing now, like a lot of people are slagging Vladdy because he said if he didn't get a contract by the beginning of the season, let's not talk about it.
Oh, the fake deadline?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, there's a lot of rumors why it's there. What if he has a shit season, he won't get 500 sheets? I don't know. The bottom line is I have a funny feeling that before we get to June 1st, they'll be signed and there'll be something going on with Bo too. Mm-hmm. I really believe that because like Vladdy's 25 years old. His resume should be good enough to get him at least 400. And if he goes to the free market, he might get 6. We don't know. But like, geez, what are we doing? Homegrown talent? Away we go. Bo has looked amazing in spring training.
Yes, he has.
Bo, he has looked like Bo. So, you know what? If he could
probably going to be the leadoff guy.
I hope he is. I really, really hope he is. I mean, put no pressure on the guy, but let's put him there. The reason being now, so we like I keep saying, everybody, and we'll talk about it next week real quick. We'll leave the baseball scene. Blue Jays got a tough first month of the season schedule. If we're 500 May 1st, I'm saying anything's possible. Now, if we're 5 or 6 games under coming May 1st, then I'm going to be a little concerned.
Jays have a tough start to the schedule, too.
What's that? That's what I'm saying. Their schedule is nothing to write home about to start the season. But we got to come out of it. Got to play those teams eventually anyway, right? Yep. Now they say, well, it'd be better to play them here, better to play them here. No, you play the team that's in front of you and hope for the best. I'm hoping that we're 500 May 1st, but we'll talk about that next week. Do you think it's a possibility that they'll be signed? Bo and Vlad by May 1st, June 1st at the latest?
We'll leave it at that. Some other news. So LA and the Cubs played a couple games in Japan this past week. Mookie Betts is very sick. I don't know if you've heard about this. He's lost 15 pounds. And he's not a big guy. That's a little scary.
I'm hearing like that too. That's something that's very scary. There's like, let's not even speculate. But when a man loses 15 pounds,
and he's not a big guy to begin with,
then let's knocking wood for his health, people. Knocking wood for his health, because he didn't play.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But didn't Chicago Cubs feel like they were freaking the Washington Generals in all of this? Like, come on.
They lost both games.
And you hear the roar of the crowd. I turned it on. L.A. farted, the place went nuts. Who are the Cubs? Who are the Cubs?
Although Pikachu looked like he was a fan of the Cubs from the video I saw.
There's a little bit there, but it was a great way to start the season in a baseball-crazed country.
Yes, sir.
You know, and Ohtani did it. Now, so what's Ohtani? Second Japanese hitter to hit a home run at that stadium?
The Tokyo Dome, yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Matsui's the first guy?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it was Matsui.
But they're saying Ohtani may never. We should actually. I'll save this for the show, but he may never pitch again.
Ooh,
we'll put that in the minds of our listeners.
Yes.
Kimbrel back with the Braves as a closer.
So what?
Yeah.
We got Hoffman. So what?
Nintendo puts their logo on the Mariners' shoulder, so they can't afford good hitters, but they can afford putting advertising. Apparently,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And where's Nintendo based?
Oh, Nintendo of America is based in Seattle. Yeah.
It all makes sense to me. That's what I'm saying. Okay, you can do that.
They're getting ready for the Switch 2 to come out.
Come on.
Anything else for baseball?
No, but by the time we get to next week, it's going to be cool because we could have done it this week, and I'm glad we didn't. We'll have our preview next Saturday, which is going to give us at least 2 games that we're going to see of a Blue Jay lineup.
Yes, sir.
So it'll be Barrios and Bassett starting, I believe.
Yes, then
or
Gosman.
Barrios or Gosman, doesn't matter.
Probably Gosman second, if I had to guess.
I can't wait till we talk about the baseball season. I cannot wait. BOH, be ready. Pick. We'll give you the lineup, and then you guys give us your predictions. We go from there.
All right, we'll take this to the PWHL where Toronto triumphs 2-1 over New York. Darryl Watts with 2 goals in that one. Campbell looking good in net.
Oh, let's just say something here. Like, this whole PWHL thing is turning on its head right now.
Yes.
I watched a couple games. These girls are starting to hit each other. Starting to get nasty.
Getting ready for World Championships.
Getting ready for World Championships. Like, you know the great thing about it is they say there's no hitting in the PWHL.
Kind of, sort of.
They run into each other a lot.
Yes, they do.
Or you know what? I see a couple of...
It's those big, like, crushing hits like you see in the NHL.
No.
Those are penalties. Yeah.
But you know what? It's interesting. What's that one we did a little subject on? Reverse hits?
Yeah.
Oh,
you're gonna get me riled up for our NHL segment.
Okay, but anyways, did you notice that those reverse hits show up a little bit more in hockey? Because I think those girls do a little bit on purpose. They can't hit the guy, but they hit their brakes real fast when the other person's coming. What do you expect to happen?
Use the tools you got in the toolbox, right?
Oh, and I see a lot of the faster players. Our girl that just came back, on Toronto.
Spooner.
She pulled the great one last night. The guy ran into her, shot it over, and the other girl scored the goal.
I love that we have Natalie Spooner back.
But, I mean, that was a dirty play. I don't know. Like, it's not a dirty play. It's inside the thing. But if you look at it, looked like a reverse hit.
Yep.
Like, she started the play on a reverse hit. They don't hit in PWHL, do they? They damn sneaky, aren't they? In any event, when you just look at it now, though, it's
6 games left.
And Boston's made the rise, and Toronto plays Boston and Montreal this week.
Yep.
That's going to be huge for whether or not Toronto gets a first-round playoff games
like
at
the
home.
Home
the
ice.
home thing, it's going to be huge.
Don't forget, though, last year, Toronto-Montreal had home ice, and they both lost in the first round.
That's an interesting stat.
But yeah, Sunday, that's tomorrow, Toronto is in action in Montreal. And then Wednesday
they play Boston.
And then next Sunday is Minnesota, and then after that they are off for World Championship break.
Okay, so that's 3 games. Okay, so that's against all 3
big
top
games.
teams.
All the 3 other teams that are in the playoffs right now.
Does that mean with only 6 games left, do you think Montreal is comfortably ahead?
Yeah, they're gonna be the first seed.
Okay, like say they lose to Boston and Montreal back to back. I mean Boston and Toronto back to back. Because their schedule,
it does put it in jeopardy, but I mean, I think Montreal's too strong.
I still think they're good enough to do it. I do too.
They have the Canadian national team goalie in net. They got Poulin. Come on,
that's the only person that scores. The rest of the time, they play defense. They play that defense.
Well, there you go.
So what's happening?
With the best goalie in the world,
that helps. I agree, but I've noticed when you see Boston and Toronto play, they're starting to play like I talk about when do you open it up. They just start flying at you.
Yeah, Toronto plays more open.
Yeah, I like that. So it puts a little bit more pressure on you, a little bit more chances to score.
Hopefully Sarah Nurse comes back.
Yeah, that's true, too. But she's supposed to make it back by the playoffs, they say, right? She's not playing on the national team.
No, she's not. She didn't she's hurt, but...
Whatever, we'll find out. But anyways, compared to where it was in January, it is to now where I was kind of going, meh, to this whole PWHL thing. I'm not saying that anymore. The quality of the games has gotten tighter. The standings are close. Just look at it, 45, 40, 39, and 35. That means Minnesota, who was one of the, in January, I thought them in Montreal were the class of the league. Oh, shit, what happened here? Very, very interesting.
A lot left to figure out.
100%. 100%. But go Toronto.
Absolutely. Anything else for PWHL?
No, and I'll be keeping my eye on that game because once that's tomorrow at noon, right?
Yeah.
I'll be taking a look at that game because come on, Toronto wins that game, we're in good shape, and we've got to win it in regulation
time. 3 points.
Yeah, let's go for the 3 points because that makes a difference. I hope they never bring it to the NHL, but good luck, girls.
I hope they do bring it to the NHL, but that's neither here nor there. We will take it to our soccer report where we are on international break, but we will get back to that a little bit later. First, a little bit of a wrap around. TFC lost their home opener 2-1 versus Chicago Fire. It's going to be another rough year for the Reds. Moving it into Premier League. First of all, Liverpool, they lost in Champions League, but they still had the chance at the double. But unfortunately for them, they lost the EFL Cup final 2-1 to Newcastle.
Shocker of the week.
Newcastle, their first major hardware since 1969 when they won the Intercity Fairs Cup, which is basically now the Europa League.
That's insane. How did Liverpool do that?
I have no idea.
I wanted to talk to Matt Kern about that.
So now so Premier League, and that's basically it for them.
Yep.
They got a big lead, but it's about it. Arsenal scored early, held off Chelsea 1-0 in a home victory. We'll take a look at the table.
Yes.
For the Premier League, where Liverpool is still in first place with 70 points. Arsenal, second place with 58. Nottingham Forest with 54. Chelsea, 49. They're in that final Champions League spot. Man City in fifth place with 48 points, and that's a Europa League spot. Newcastle United, who just won that EFL Cup, they're in sixth, only 1 point behind Man City, as is Brighton.
Okay. EFL, like how did this cup, remember we talked about last week?
It's called the League Cup. So it's basically it's open for the top 4 tiers in the English system. So Premier League, English League, Football League Championship, Football League 1, Football League 2.
And then Newcastle, because I want to heard it wasn't 1969, 1979? That was the last.
They basically won it became Europa League that they won.
Whatever the case may be. When I heard they didn't win from there, I just went, oh, Liverpool, what happened to you guys? Ooh. So they get no champions now. They don't get this cup.
They lost FA Cup. They lost
they
EFL
lost
Cup.
FA Cup, yeah. Whoa, that's weird. They must be more pissed than Man City.
I don't know about that.
Because they all got to be pissed.
I think Man City's its own can of worms.
Well, right, especially right now, especially where they were supposed to be and the way they've been playing. Ooh.
Are they might be still alive for FA Cup, though. I think so. But either way, they're not in good spot in Premier League.
They're not going to regulation, so don't worry about it.
No, they are not.
No.
Moving over to Serie A, Inter defeated Atalanta at home to retain their lead.
That was a crazy game, though, because they scored 4 goals in the last 20 minutes or something, because I went and took a look at the highlights, and I like Atletico. They're this seems to be like that little brother.
Atalanta, you mean?
Yeah, whatever they're called. Yeah, and they were up 2-0.
No, Inter scored. It was only a 2-0 win. Inter scored at 54th minute and 87th minute.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but I thought those other guys were going to win. And
a couple red cards there made it interesting.
Yeah, who buys the refs? Another story. I don't know. It's just so weird. A lot of soccer things I don't buy into. I really don't. That's how North American I am. Sometimes when I see that card go up, I go, what? And sometimes it looks justified.
Yeah.
And other times,
but it's reviewable now, though.
I don't even trust the reviews anymore.
Oh, my God. Who do you trust?
My dog. Okay.
Fair enough.
I trust my dog.
Stanley's a good boy.
Yes, he is. I trust him.
So Inter Milan in first place with 64 points.
No, wait. See, in La Liga, right? Oh, that was
Serie A, Spain.
Okay.
Spain. Or sorry, Italy we're talking.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So, Inter, first place with 64. Napoli's in second with 61. Atalanta still in third with 58. Bologna is holding on to that final Champions League spot with 53 points. Juventus only a point behind at 52. Lazio 51. Even Roma hanging around at 49. Fiorentina 48. AC Milan 47. And so the top 9 in Serie A, all pretty tight, which is why I stand by it's the best league this season.
Could be.
We will take this over to
La
Liga in España, where Barcelona exploded for 4 goals.
This is the game
in the final 20 minutes to come back from down 2-0 to get the 4-2 win at Atletico. Ferran Torres with the brace, Yamal with the 93rd minute winner, and Lewandowski with the other goal.
Crushing defeat for my Atletico Madrid guys. That's the game I ran to the TV and said, what? I got to the highlights it was on Sky or something. And that's very rare to happen like that. The Barcelona fans must have been losing their shit. And consider that's the team you've been backing in champions, right? Yep. What a comeback.
Yeah, Barcelona each week, they convince me more and more. They are top of the table with 60 points.
Yes.
With the game in hand over Real Madrid, who's also at 60 points. Atletico Madrid, 56 points.
Huge loss for them, eh?
Yeah, Athletic is in that fourth and final Champions League spot with 52 points. And the next team back of them is 8 points back. So I imagine those are the 4 teams head to Champions League when all is said and done there.
So considering how this is soccer, how do you feel when you go back into the dressing room?
Oh, and you blow a 2-0 lead like that?
And I just get smoked.
Very quiet.
Just smoked.
Very
they were
quiet.
like they were playing the game of their lives. And look what the difference that would have made on the table.
Big swing.
Yes, massive swing, and they did, which just tells you how good Barcelona is, because I do believe when it gets down to Barcelona and Real Madrid, I think Barcelona is a little bit better from what I've seen so far.
Oh, way better.
You know, just from what I noticed. But even the goal differentials and all that shit, it seems to be that way. But I felt bad for Atletico Madrid because I thought these guys are pulling off the win of the week. Whoops.
Yep. We'll move us over to Bundesliga, where Bayer Leverkusen won a wild 4-3 match to beat VfB Stuttgart on the road, overcoming 2-0 and 3-1 deficits to move within 6 points of Bayern.
Bayern's the team in that league, bro. Come on.
Well, 8 games left, and they're within 6 points. It's not over. Leverkusen's underrated.
They just got their asses handed to them by them in the champions.
Doesn't matter.
We're gonna see.
Different.
I think that those Bayer guys. Is it possible that Bayer and Barcelona could end up in the Champions League championship game? Are they on the side of the brackets?
They are on the same side of the bracket, so they can meet in the
semifinals. That would be a great game. I hope it gets down to that. I'm going
to go for my Italian boys Inter. Even though I'm an AC fan, I would love to see an Italian team go far.
Always.
But keeping it with Bundesliga, Bayern Munich top of the table with 62 points, Bayer Leverkusen with 56. After that, it's Mainz 05 with 45, Eintracht Frankfurt with 45 in the final Champions League spot. And then we have RB Leipzig and SC Freiburg just 3 points back of them.
I just look at it this way. When you're looking at, like, I think that the only team that, I don't mean to slag the other teams, but these guys aren't they like the look of the league? Like, who's better
than Bayern Munich?
Yeah, they just seem to be like, I don't know, they like the Kansas City Chiefs of this league or some shit, man.
They're the only team there with big money.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever, because I don't see, like, all these other guys, if they beat them, it's a huge upset, and the only time that they seem to be, they've lost a game this year, which, as you have pointed out to me, is something I've learned. It's in between international matches, Champions game, who they're resting, who they're playing. If that game's not as insignificant, so they don't care. That kind of deal, but this team's a freaking powerhouse. We'll see.
We will see. Moving it over to Ligue 1, PSG secured a 3-1 win at home, versus Marseille, extending their lead to 19 points. They need just 2 more wins to clinch Ligue 1 with 8 matches left. That would be their 4th title in a row and 11th in their last 13 seasons. And before this run, they only had 2 league wins before that, but then, of course, the Qatar money came in. Just thought I'd mention that.
That's got not a lot to do with anything, right?
No, not at all. Just a strange coincidence. But moving it over to the table, PSG, like I said, 19 points they lead. They have 68 points. Marseille in second with 49. Monaco with 47. They have that final Champions League spot, but hot on their tails are Nice with also 47 points, Lyon with 45, and Lille with 44, and then there's even Strasbourg hanging around at 43 points.
How many games left in that league, too?
8 games.
8 games. So that's coming down to the nitty-gritty.
Yes, it is.
I think those 4 at the top may stay there. Like you said, mathematically, the other guy's got a shot, but the way it's been rolling, and I look back at the table, who's played each other already before, so could be interesting.
Yep. So, of course, it's also international break. So Canada unfortunately lost 2-0 to Mexico in the CONCACAF Nations League semifinals at SoFi. Bit of a controversial game considering some of the officiating and
brutal.
And I mean, the Mexicans are just a dirty team.
Oh, they got knives in their pockets, I swear.
A lot of CONCACAF teams do.
Okay, but what have we ever won that? No, eh?
Nations League, no. It's a pretty new thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying we've never won, right?
No.
Okay, and now how did Panama beat the Americans?
I have no idea.
Like, that's just weird. And now they're hyping up the big Canadian-U.S. game more than
bronze.
For the bronze. It's more of a hype game than the championship game.
Well, in Canada it is. In the States, I guess.
No, the States are just looking the other way. Like, those teams are like freaking, what would you call it, orphan kids? They're looking like their soccer teams. They look at orphan kids. Go over there, feed them some freaking rice. Nah, come on. Like, this is the American team. Like, America. This is America. We're great, America. And their soccer team's supposed to be on the rise. And we're just a year away from the World Cup.
Yep.
Right, is year 2026?
2026.
It's crazy. The commercials are on TV already.
You're away, man.
I just went.
We're hosting too, so don't forget that.
Yes, but I think it's odd. Like, I personally thought we were going to lose to Mexico because we've beaten them the last 2 times, and I said we're not going to be. Yeah, we're due. That's one of the things when I said that. I went, we're due. And not everybody. We were missing 2 players, weren't we? Of significance. I think somebody, a defender, some defender.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. They just said it.
Maybe one of our center backs.
Yeah, something like that. One guy like that. But I don't see any. Mexico is just freaking Mexico. And now they're going to win it, and they've won it more than anybody else, right? This cup.
I think so. Again, it's a new tournament, so.
Yeah, it's 10 years old, if that.
Nah, not even. Nations League is like within the last, like just before COVID it came in.
Really?
Yeah.
I know they put it in just so they have a competition like everybody else to keep them so they have international.
Yeah, instead like international friendlies. Yeah. Which I agree with. I thought it was a little silly at first, but then the more you think about it, like, okay, having like a little league for these guys, that makes sense. Little interim champions.
Yeah. And not only that, keep the competition level up.
Exactly.
How they go about getting things done in Europe. Those guys are always playing high-end games, so they're more prepared.
But even then, whatever, Nations League came in the same time for everyone. So, like, even then, those international friendlies that they'd play was, like, fucking bullshit.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Either way, best of luck to Canada at SoFi against the States for bronze. For UEFA, they're in the middle of a Nations League quarterfinal, so it's a 2-leg. The first one was on the 20th. The second leg is going to be on the 23rd. Spain and Netherlands drew their first match in the Netherlands, so they'll be heading back home to Spain, so obviously they got the advantage.
Okay.
Croatia beat France 2-0, but they'll be heading back to France. Should be an interesting one.
Croatia will pull it out.
Denmark beat Portugal 1-0 at home, but going back to Portugal 1-0, that's not the hardest deficit to come back from. Italy blew it at home. They lost 2-1 to Germany, now they got to go into Germany. The winners of these 4 will be the... So basically, this helps determine World Cup qualifying. So the 4 winners of these will go into the 4-group team. The 4-team groups, and then the losers go into 5-team groups. So basically, if you lose, you got to play an extra 2 qualifying games. So, it's going to be that's brutal.
So Italy lost at home.
Yeah, so they're
We're
probably
in trouble.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. Italy World Cup qualifying. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's just so frustrating. Either way. Stranger things have happened. So
I'll be hope for the best.
Yeah.
Especially here in Toronto.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Anywhere in North America. A lot of the Eastern.
But you know what? They haven't determined what games are going to be played here yet because they don't know who in the hell's even in. Right?
Oh, like for World Cup. Yeah, that's still ways away. Also, CONMEBOL, World Cup qualifying is happening right now, but I mean, who cares? We know who's going to make the World Cup from South America.
Point well taken. You know what, though? Do you think that we'll get a marquee game in Toronto just off the top of our head?
It's not going to be too big, just because of like the size of the stadiums, right? We won't be able to accommodate it here.
So we'll get Chile against Peru.
I think they'll put a Canada game here.
You think?
Yeah.
But I say that when they revamp BMO, they're gonna Lego it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they Lego it, it's gonna go up to 40,000.
Yeah, which still isn't that big for a soccer stadium.
Point well, but we're in Toronto. 40,000 is pretty big crowd.
Okay, but it's World Cup. You have people come from all over the world.
I agree. So that's why we should build a new freaking dome out here in Etobicoke.
Didn't you promise that if Doug Ford won the election, we get an NFL stadium?
But he's got other business to deal with right now. That's coming down the pipe. Don't worry about it. That's going to come down the pipe.
Okay.
You watch.
I'm holding you accountable to that.
I'm going to say we're about 18 months away from Doug going, once he beats down and gets the tariff thing straight.
Oh, you said the naughty T word.
Oh, shit, sorry. Erase that. But, I still say it's coming here. And the more you hear about it, the more people in the neighborhood have said, why is that chunk of land sitting there? And everything's getting designed around it.
Yeah.
Everyone's, why is that chunk of land there? It's just very suspicious. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying, which would be a good thing. So I do think that we'll get a sniff at some NFL. And if they put the stadium there, then we'll be World Cup qualified. Because Toronto, on a world basis now, like all over the world, people hear about Toronto now. That's our stature has come up for a lot of things. And look at all the things that do go on in Toronto. So the only problem is some for the international things, we're not ready for them. And one is soccer.
Yeah.
You know, and we're supposed to be a soccer city. Well, I think we are.
The grassroots, really.
Yeah. So it's about time that we put in a facility because there's no way they're playing a World Cup game at the goddamn Dome.
No. Rogers won't allow it.
Won't they?
No.
Because of baseball, right? Yeah, that's the main thing. And that's
the Dome is now baseball and concerts. That's it. That's all you'll ever see there now.
Yep. Which is, they're making money on that too, trust me. And WWE.
Oh, well.
The
less said about that, the better. Anything else for soccer? No,
it should be interesting. Oh, yeah, and the other thing they use the Dome for is for those preacher guys that hand the hats.
Oh, yeah, okay. So in the same category as concerts, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is some kind of a concert, isn't it?
Sure.
I want to
get live entertainment and that kind of...
And I'll save your soul. Now pass the hat. You know that night we were talking about a couple weeks ago on Saturday night when I said it's interesting?
Yeah, at the AC or at Scotiabank.
I did mention that. Who was at Scotiabank that night? Pass the hat,
some sort of preacher, yeah.
Yeah, some preacher. I thought that stuff was over, man.
It is definitely not.
Never.
We will take this into the NBA with our latest edition of our power rankings.
First of all, can we now just cut to the chase and say, North America, get ready for the OKC Thunder to be in the finals?
Yeah.
Can we just start?
So is that spoiling our number ones?
Probably. Okay, so I'll give you my top 10, and it has changed a bit, okay?
Mine, yes and no. I guess mine did change a decent amount.
Because at the bottom, I don't know who's doing what because of injuries and checking the last 10 games and little facts that you say you should check as we're getting along here makes me go whatever. But my number 10 is the Pacers, making the first appearance. You got to give them credit for coming. Still can't play D, but they can frickin' shoot. Did you see that walk shot that Halliburton made the other night to win the game? That's not a walk. Like, what did the guy do? No, you know what it was? Triple jump.
Okay.
He was doing the triple jump, and then you do the shot. Right? Oh, come on. Great shot, though, to win the game. But, come on. They got to start calling these walks a little more, but that's another story. Pacers at number 10. Bucks at number 9. Milwaukee. Number 8, the Memphis Grizzlies, who I can't figure out, even though they got my John Moran and everything, I can't figure out them. Number 7, and I probably could put them higher, and I'll probably get there before the playoffs started, is the Lakers, because I can't figure out them without LeBron. Yep.
That's 6, right?
That's 7th.
Oh, 7, excuse me.
I got 7th. I don't know what they're till the LeBron comes back, unless he's doing the injuries.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing. Even though Luka is playing insane, he's already Hollywood. Probably got 2 starlets on his arm by now, but that's another story. Number 6, I got to give him credit because they're holding in there, and that's the New York Knicks. But I can't wait till they get bitch slapped early so the whole America can cry about them because the Knicks aren't for real. What do you think? I'm giving them that today. Number 6. I couldn't put them in the top 5.
Wait till you see my power rankings.
I got the Rockets at number 5, coming back at 9-1 in the return of Fred VanVleet, which I predicted. Once they get their floor general back on the floor, things will say. Now, am I going to still say they're going to win a championship? No. But you got to respect 9-1 and what they did injury, and all their injury guys are coming back, so I'll put them at number 5. The Nuggets at number 4. Celtics number 3. Cleveland number 2, and of course OKC at the top.
All right, so my number 10, I have Indiana as well.
Okay.
Number 9, I got Memphis because I'm losing confidence in them fast.
Yes.
Number 8, I have the LA Clippers.
Really?
They're starting to show their mettle.
I had them as my 11th or 12th. I gave them and the Pacers both. I better take a look at it. It's all about Kawhi though. But go ahead.
Yep. Number 7, I got the Golden State Warriors.
Wow.
They keep winning.
Make my list.
They had them at number 7 last week. So number 6, I got the Denver Nuggets. Number 5, I got the Houston Rockets, winners of their last 9 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, I got the LA Lakers. Number 3, I got Cleveland. 4 losses in a row will do that to you, and 3 of them against some pretty poots teams. Number 2, I got the Boston Celtics, and number 1, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Well, it's going to stay that way with the top 3, and I was going to drop them down because I really think, and everyone's saying it, like it's going to be interesting. Doesn't matter what's going on, that the Celtics, everyone has got mailed to the finals. The question is Cleveland deep enough that if we go to a Game 7 and it's in Cleveland, who you betting on? I say the Celtics.
Them and the Celtics?
Yeah, I say the Celtics.
Well,
long way to go.
I think it's going to get to Game 7.
But if you got to look with the addition of DeAndre Hunter,
yep.
Like we said last week, the defense.
Oh no, I think Cleveland's going to the conference finals.
Oh, I do too. I can't see them,
especially against that like round 1, like.
Okay.
Whatever. And then round 2 against like either like the Knicks, the Bucks, or the Pacers.
I hope they get the Knicks.
They're going to win that in like 5.
That's what I hope. I hope they get the Knicks in the second round.
Knicks were out of my top 10 completely.
I know. No, I had to put them back because they scrambled in there and they played some good teams because I didn't even know. I looked at the Warriors too, but you know what turned me off about the Warriors? When Kerr came to the microphone and said, "Oh, you know Steph Curry's tired." Shut the front door.
That's costing you in the power rankings?
Yes,
I thought we were judging, I thought we were keeping it between the lines here.
I did. So they lost the game. They lost the game between the line, and Steve Kerr's come out and said, well, that's because Steph Curry is tired. You know that guy that had to work overtime to get that welding gear out to that company that needed the pipes? He's tired
Hold on,
too.
but Golden State beat the Knicks this week.
That's the only team in...
And then the Knicks also lost to San Antonio and Charlotte, and the only team they beat is Miami, who's falling apart down the stretch. Oh yeah,
and I don't think about the Raptors getting in there. I'm not really worried about that.
Oh, that's my take. Raptors are going to backdoor their way into the playoffs.
I hope not. But
you hope not?
No, because
you don't want them to make it to the playoffs.
I hope they do, but what's happening is I can't watch the games now because if a guy plays, they take him out. Next game, he's back in the D-League. Oh, this guy's coming back. So you're not getting any consistency out of the lineup from the Raptors anyway, which is obviously they're additioning a whole bunch of guys because they're preparing for next year. So you're going to jerk my chain so they get into the playoff, the first round. They get beat. Now, if they were going to the playoff, if they were happen to win the play-in, who's the first team they're going to play?
Oh, if they win the play-in.
If they get the play-in, then it's Cleveland. A beating. Yeah. So the only good thing about that is they have the experience of going for it in a playoff time. So they've had some spirit. I'll take that too. But the way that they're operating in Raptorland, they're still got their eyes on that slim possibility of the lottery pick.
Well, yeah, they're 7th last, but
so they're not going to get a sniff at it. But
you never the odds are pretty even now, right? So
okay, but if you get in the top 3 or 4 guys, there's a couple of good power forwards out here. We're seeing in the tournament that we could be drafting. So
we could use another big.
Oh yeah, that's if we don't draft a big. Oh,
the bigger point guard.
What's that?
Bigger a point guard.
Then if we take a point guard and that kid comes out of Baylor, take him now. He's not polished, but take him. The kid that played with Flag last year in high school, and they were 2 years in a row undefeated or some shit. That kid on Baylor's the real deal. He's going to be Wright's his name, Wright Jr., or Wright the second or whatever. That's a guy. So that's the only other choice, a point guard. You mean a real point guard? Which would be good because he'll play with Quickly for a year, so that wouldn't be... And we got that Sheed guy, and I think that he's a Van Fleet light. Yeah. We'll wait and see, but that's not what
because I think Quickly's more of a shooting guard, but...
Yes, that'll probably... We'll come there. One of the things that, when you brought it up about the Lakers is, I'm not a J.J. Redick fan. Let's give them credit for their defense, because those guys have changed the way they play their defense. Not only is LeBron been out, but what's his name? How do you say his name? Hugo Minga? That other big guy in Hayes. The other 2 guys that I got are 6'9" or better are both out too.
Who are we talking about? Hachimura?
Hachimura. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Hachimura. Okay. What was I saying? I never get the names right. But anyway, Hachimura is the guy. Those 2 guys are out too. So they haven't played. I think Hayes just came back for 1 game. So I can't really judge the Lakers on... I'm basing on what I'm seeing now. Luka's scoring 40 a night. That's not sustainable. Okay, and they'll just double team him down.
No, but he's going to have more help.
Hopefully we're coming back in LeBron. But the last time LeBron had one of these injuries and he came back in the playoffs, he wasn't the same. So I'm saying, like, keep LeBron out if you can maintain there, but you don't want to fall down to 6th. You want to stay up to that more of the 4th, stuff like that. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. So
although if they stay 4th, they're going to have to play OKC second round. Or actually, they're in 3rd right now, so that's where they want to stay.
Yep, and they
second,
lucky
3rd
because they won 2 or 3 in a row here.
Yeah, they they lost their last one, but I believe they won their last 3 before that.
So they're going to be okay.
I think so.
And
too.
I don't, you know what I mean. But I don't see the Houston Rockets staying there. What a great run they've had at 9-1. But that experience when they
9 in a row as well.
What's that?
9 in a row. I know that
Yes.
who have they played in this 9 games? No one good.
No, they had one good team. I think they beat Memphis. And I think
No,
who did,
not in this stretch.
nobody any good.
Miami, Orlando, Philly, Chicago, Dallas, Phoenix, Orlando, New Orleans.
That a way to go. I feel bad for Zion right now. Nobody's even noticing he's playing the best basketball of his career, but that's another story to go there.
Well, you're second last in the West.
There you go. The other team that I think they got to really look out for, and I've been keep talking about them, is this. Okay, so what? The Cavs had a losing streak. They had 3 15-game thing. This is just their little freaking sitting back on their hands.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Their
streakiness, doesn't that kind of worry you come playoff time?
No, because I think this is the first real. This is their first 3-game losing streak all year.
I get that, but we were talking about before, like they've had the winning streaks, but between the winning streaks, you look at how they are in that time, not good records. So that's what I'm saying. It's we're building up a little bit of reputation of the Cavs being streaky.
I don't want to look at it that way. I'm just thinking they had a pause. Yeah, I hear you. You got a valid argument there. I'm just saying that they've been on such a high all year. If they just took their foot off the gas pedal and people bum rushed them because now we're playing Cleveland.
Yeah.
Got to tie our shoes tonight. That could be it. But I think they've got 15 games to go. They're going to tighten this up.
12 games left.
12 games left?
They're at the 60-game mark. Most teams are.
Yeah, so whatever the case may be, it's going to be interesting now, but I think they're going to be there. Which gets me back to talk about the other team in the West, and once again is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, maybe the best duo in the league.
In the East, not the West.
In the East, yeah. I'm saying they may be still the best duo, arguably in basketball. Mm-hmm. I think they're just on freaking autopilot right now. That's what I really do. I think they're on autopilot. That's all they're doing. Wait, we're going to get to the playoffs.
They're not too far back from Cleveland.
No, and they can but they're not going to kill themselves to get there.
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't. And with their road record in the playoffs the last 2 years, do you think they care where they're going to play?
They're going to get favorable matchups in the playoffs regardless.
And I hate talking good about the Celtics, so let's go on. But I do have to say that I'm really, every time I turn around, nobody wants to say anything about Jason Tatum.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I don't get it. Like, why is he not liked, as we said last week, on dramas? Brings his boy to the game, goes home and has dinner with mama. So what? Guy's a great player. I hope they lose anyway because they're the Celtics. But when they're talking about all these great players around the league and people don't bring up Jason Tatum enough, it just drives me crazy. You know what I mean?
Moving to the West, do you think Dallas is officially dead?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Do you see their lineup of injuries and stuff? Oh, they're just done. And I feel bad, not bad, but I feel a little bit bad for Clay, who probably 6 weeks ago he's thinking, hey, we got to run here. Okay, we lost Luka, but we got these guys, blah, blah, blah. And they were playing great with Kyrie running them. Good now. You know what they're doing, is that they're thinking AD's not going to play for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, so should he have been out golfing?
I don't know.
Did you see the clip?
Of what? He was out golfing?
Got a clip of him doing it and everything. People were jumping on it. Like, what's he supposed to do?
Well, what's his injury?
Groin. Little back. Yeah. You got to twist and exercise anyway. He looks funny golfing because he's so goddamn tall.
Yeah.
But
I don't mind him golfing.
People saying he shouldn't have been. Yes, he shouldn't. What is the organization saying? I would have told him this. Buddy, what'd you do with the camera? Turn that off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what my number one would be because there's a camera everywhere. What you're going to do. So we'll see you next year, Dallas, because if they bring this whole lineup back and now they're going to fall back into the draft and they get a kid that can be a serviceable part in the draft.
They should be a playoff team.
They'll be a playoff team next year. No problem whatsoever. But
congratulations, Phoenix. You found the back door to the play-in.
There you go. What a mess they are, which doesn't make any sense with the talent on that team and the way they're looking.
Well, of course it makes sense considering all the egos.
Too much ego in there. You know what I mean?
Durant's gone this offseason.
He's killing his legacy. A player of that greatness, like, come on.
Oh, there's a funny thing I saw. It was like how many championships these guys would have if Steph Curry wasn't around, and then it's Durant 0.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry, Durant. What is that telling you, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're thinking of the Warriors, though, and what's going on in the West, so you're saying that technically Phoenix could play Golden State in the play-in if Golden State's not freaking careful.
Well, Golden State's in the 6th seed. Honestly, I think they're going to pass Memphis.
I don't know. Memphis has got, if they could get everybody together, Memphis could still rise up and have an 8-game streak, and all of a sudden Houston's down to the 5th. Because Houston came out of nowhere. Remember you thought
Memphis is another team, but last 5 games, they've only won one, and who is it against? Miami.
They're just weird, and every night you go to look, because I play fantasy basketball, and half the time, half their guys aren't playing. Like, what's going on in Memphis? I really don't know, but I don't think Golden State's not. Everyone's selling me on it because of Jimmy Butler factor, and now Draymond Green saying he should be Defensive Player of the Year. And I heard the best thing is that he's got to have a better three-point shot. Well, guess what? If I'm playing against Golden State, I'm giving Draymond Green all the open looks he wants from three until you start making them are like, I don't give a shit. But if that's supposed to be part of your formula to get to the finals, that's weak.
Well, I'm not saying Golden State's going to the finals, but
well, they're going to win a round in the playoffs.
Depends who they play.
Okay, so they're right off the top. They're 6. They're going to play 3. Right now would be they're playing Denver. Denver
Lakers.
against Golden. No, right now.
No, right now Lakers are in 3rd.
Why did I have to upgrade my thing?
Lakers have a higher winning percentage.
Okay, why isn't?
I know. I guess it depends.
Mine is sitting on a day old. I haven't pressed the button. Let's see when I renew it. Survey says yes. I bet you it changes right now.
Denver has one more win, but the Lakers have played less games.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, you got it. Now have you turned around. So if the Lakers play Golden State, that'd be a good battle.
Come on.
What, you think the Lakers will kill them?
I don't know if they'll kill them, but they probably take it in like 6.
I think that if Denver can move up to 2nd slot, which I think they can, because they've lost a couple games lately, I go, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
You're on a run, and like they're sleeping. That Denver team is nothing to sleep on, and Russell Westbrook's having the resurgent season of a time. Do you see him coming to play? So people forget about, like, look at the other night. Golden State, you're supposed to be this good. Who didn't play? Jamal was out of the lineup. Mm-hmm. The Joker was out of the lineup, and you still got beat by Denver. So what is that telling you? Oh, but Aaron Gordon went off for 38. Yeah. Russell Westbrook had his 20, whatever. Michael Porter Jr. went off. They get the Brown guy coming off the bench. They play defense. They don't worry about threes. Denver's a team that I'm saying if they get to the finals, like if I was OKC, the way the matchups go, if I was OKC, I wouldn't be worried about any other team except for Denver. And I'm sick of this about no experience. They lost to Minnesota last year. Okay, so they made some mistakes, so they got another year to go on. This OKC team, their defensive metrics alone should tell you, in championship times, that's how you win.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I don't know why they're not getting it. And what's going to happen with Ant-Man and my boys?
With the Timberwolves?
Yes. What's going on with those guys?
They've been playing pretty well lately.
Well, they've got...
yeah. Mind you, they haven't really played any... They beat Denver on this run that they're on. Besides that, they really haven't played anyone good, or they haven't beat anyone good, I should say.
Exactly. And that's what worries me about this whole shit, you know?
Yeah, they're probably going to lose in the first round.
And they're a team with so much problems. But when you think about it, we were talking about it earlier in the year, now it's a failure on both parts. The way that they use Cat New York doesn't make that a completely successful trade. And the way they disrupted the chemistry in Minnesota has made them a lesser team.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Now who's won this trade really?
Well, we talked about it. Both teams came out of this as losers in a way.
It's just like...
It's bizarre.
Very, very bizarre, considering the caliber of player and who they are. I think the big thing for the Knicks is that it hasn't worked out that well is the Mitchell Robinson project coming back full-time for the thing. Yeah.
Anything else for basketball?
No, we're just going to say that someone said this the other day, and it's going to make me sick because of all the trials and turmoils they've had with basketball this season, quality of play, players not shutting up, ratings being down and stuff. There is a way that some of these lineups in the playoffs are going to be so good. By the time we get to June, we're going to forget about all the things that pissed us off all year.
Yeah,
we'll be conned again. Oh, well, it's the NBA.
One more thing for basketball. Bill Chisholm buying the Celtics for $6.1 billion, a record for a North American sports team.
The guy that bought it, do you know what he paid for it?
What do you mean?
Guy that bought the team before the Celtics.
Oh, how much he paid?
In 2002. Guess what he paid?
Like what, $500 million? Not even?
Not even. $362 million. Yeah. Did he get a return on his investment?
I think so. Made away like a bandit.
Yeah, that's about 5 times, right? Yeah. Got 5 times his investment.
No, that's like 20 times.
Yeah, what am I saying? Yeah. Think about that. Whew. And I hate the Celtics.
We'll move this over to the NHL.
Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, boy. Montreal Canadiens. For guys for the playoffs.
Montreal Canadiens.
Because we deserve Toronto sweeping Montreal in the first round.
No, we upset you guys in the first round, so Marner will come to Toronto because you'll chase him out of town because he didn't have the series you want.
Oh, speaking of that, we actually have a special message from someone. This is a House That Happens exclusive.
Okay.
I'm going to play it right now.
Hey, it's Mitch Marner. Big fan of the House That Happens. Listen to it every week. Big fan of Cruz walking my dog every week. Love Stanley as well. But yeah, you know what? I really got Cruz going. I'm thinking I'm going to Montreal. Don't tell him though that I'm not coming.
Oh no, I don't think I was supposed to play that last part there. Oh, no,
okay,
I'm gonna get in trouble from Mitch now.
You gotta send that to me. You gotta send that to me. That's the best. Gotta love AI. I love that.
AI. What do you mean AI? That was the real Mitch Marner.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. The bottom line is our good interpretation. Bottom line is, I'm glad now you're saying. Because we have some issues. People say when they notice, when the hockey talk comes up, it gets pretty heated on that House That Happens. I go, well, it's expected to. It's hockey. But let's look at
this. It's a Leafs fan and a Habs fan. What do you expect?
We're not going to be talking about the kids and the dog now. Come on.
Well, hold on. Before we get to that, power rankings?
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
I'll begin this time.
Thank you very much. How are your power rankings? Have they changed much?
You will see.
Okay, let's go.
Number 10 of the Edmonton Oilers, back on the list.
Okay.
Number 9, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay.
8 and 7 I struggled with, but 8 I have Colorado. 7 I have Toronto. The only reason I have it like that was because Toronto beat Colorado this week. Number 6 I got Vegas. Number 5 I got Florida. Number 4 winners of their last 8 in a row now, the Carolina Hurricanes. Number 3 a little bit of a rough week for the Dallas Stars. 1 and 2 I struggled with as well, but number 2 I got Washington, and number 1 I got Winnipeg.
Okay, that's a pretty good list, and we're close. We got a little bit different way we're thinking about it, but I got number 10. I got the Lightning.
Okay.
Scariest team in the East. Nobody wants to play those guys.
You think so?
Oh yeah, they're just weird. They're
Tampa
weird.
Bay, the more they play, the less scared of them I am.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
We'll talk about this in a minute.
They're kind of a Jekyll Hyde team.
Yeah, but they got the experience. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get that, and I'll explain why. Because I watched them play a couple times, and if they play this way, they can beat anybody. But I got Lightning in 10 because their last few games, they kind of went like, "What are you guys doing?"
Exactly.
You know, like you were supposed to be this. But I think they're another team that they don't care. I thought they'd take more of a shot.
That's dangerous for a team that hasn't been there in a while.
They won a couple years ago. Remember that. So it's a lot of this core is back. What I'm saying about them is that don't take nights off this late in the season. Whatever the case may be, they've ramped up their team a little bit, and I'm giving them the benefit of a doubt because technically here they still got a chance to win the division.
Yeah, it's going to be a three-way battle.
It's going to be, so that's what I'm saying.
No doubt.
So now all of a sudden Tampa Bay ends up in second, Toronto third. You don't want that. That's going to be, but that's another talk. I got Lightning at 10. I got the Oilers at 9. Another team that's leaking oil. I don't know what's going on, but I think they might be there. But as of right now and how we stand in the season, I can't put them any higher. Number 8, I got Florida because I can't figure them out, and maybe it's just the injuries that they have until those guys come back.
Maybe.
Because I'm seeing them. They're all over the board. We beat them last week.
Yep.
Great game, by the way. Number 7, and I think I made a mistake on these guys. I got the Avs at number 7. I actually believe after I did some research, they could be higher. But I'll tell you.
It was a tough list this week.
Number 6, I got the Leafs. Then the other 5, we got only because they've been playing better and the way they've been going. Number 5, I've got the Canes. Number 4, I got the Stars. Number 3, I got Vegas.
Whoa. Number
2, I got the Jets. And I'm sticking with my Washington Capitals. I'm completely on their bandwagon. I can't see them having, what are they going to say? Oh, that team, they got not enough experience in the playoffs. Yeah. Oh, they come in and they're going to get beat. Or this, I don't see that with Washington. First of all,
they do have guys with experience, though.
Ovi, Wilson, Carlson, Buddy in the net. Is that a little experience in the
Vegas,
team?
yeah.
Yes. So I'm saying
Matt Roy's had some playoff experience with the Kings.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So I don't think I like when they play in the second round. Who are they going to have to play? They're going to have to play one of the Florida teams probably, or maybe
no second round probably like Carolina
or even Carolina.
Yeah.
Now I think they'll beat them because they got more scoring. Because Carolina is a team I don't get. If you don't score, they're the smartest team and the dumbest team in the league at the same time. Is that a good way to put it?
I guess, but also
look where they are in the standings.
The guys who they've got to fill in have all been fitting in. Taylor Hall in the third line has been a great fit there.
Amazing. And that's what they need on the third line. And what am I going to say about them? They're 9-1 in their last 10. And they've beaten some quality teams along the way. You look back at who they played. They weren't playing nobodies.
Their goaltending has risen up.
Yes, it has. And the only bad game they've really had is that one when they came back against Toronto after the Four Nations break. But that was just an insane game, everything. What have they done since then? I don't think they've lost.
They've won. All they've done is won since then.
That one game was weird. It was coming out the Four Nations. Since then, they haven't lost. But what do they win by? 3-2. 2-1.
That's how it's going to be in the playoffs, though.
Who's their game breaker? Aho?
They have Aho.
Taylor Hall? That's your game breaker? No, that's the guy that keeps you steady in the third period when you're winning. So they better be front runners. I don't think their defense is big enough for starters. I think they're a good team right now. 9-1 in this with all the turmoil they've had all season.
Yeah.
And all the bullshit like bringing in, ranting, and leaving. Who said this? We should have left that in. How do you say his name? Nace or whatever. The guy Nacious. But you said he wanted to leave town anyway. But I think he would look better on the team than he did. But Taylor Hall has been a revelation.
Yeah.
As their third line guy. Because their top 6 pretty good.
Top 9 even.
Top 9.
So they got Stankoven in there on the third line now that they got from Dallas.
And you can't bitch if, I know you don't like him and I know he's a kid and he's only going to get better and he's only 25 years old. But Kokamini is your fourth line center. It's not
He's second line center now, apparently.
He's moved up. Yeah. Well, he's played a lot more. But a lot of times when it gets in the third period, I think it's because of his defense. The other night I noticed when they were a tight game, who were they playing? They won 3-2, whatever. I noticed the last 6 or 7 minutes of the game, he wasn't on the ice as much as he was on the first period. You know what I mean? Which is another good coaching decision because you're looking at who should be on the ice in those situations.
Brendan Moore, I think we can agree, he's one of the best coaches in the league.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I think eventually he's going to get in the Hall of Fame as a player too, but...
I don't know about that.
Yeah, come on. Well, if... what's his name? Your captain there from the 90s.
He shouldn't have been in either.
Well, I'm just saying he's in, so Brendan Moore's going to get in. Brendan Moore's got a couple Selke trophies, Stanley Cup champion.
Just because. I hate that.
It's not just because. It's based on merit.
Yeah, then the standard has fallen. In any event, I'm saying this.
I'm not so sure about that.
I was never the biggest Brendan Moore fan in the first place, but I'm saying he's a solid coach. They're 9-1 coming down. My question is then when they get in that big game and they get in the third period and they did the breakout player, who's it going to be? Could be Kokamini. He's had some playoff experience before and things changed in the playoffs. Could it be Taylor Hall?
Seth Jarvis.
He's their solid guy.
They got Blake too, Jason Blake's son. He's playing top line. He's in the chip in.
Yeah, okay. He gets pushed around a bit. That's all.
Boy, small like Papa.
I was going to say he gets pushed around, but he got speed to burn.
Yeah.
And he shoots the puck. I like that. Like, you know what I mean? All the guys that I've noticed in the league this year, if you shoot the puck at the net, I like you. That's
been a recurring theme.
Yes. Shoot the frickin' puck.
So that you must naturally like shot attempts then.
I have nothing to do with shot attempts. I've never heard. The only time that works is in soccer. That's the only time, because I'm saying when that guy misses that top corner of the net by 1 inch, that's a shot attempt. I respect that.
Well, in hockey, if you hit the crossbar or the post, that's a shot attempt.
Okay, I'll give you every crossbar is a shot attempt. Everything else, nothing. Crossbar, goal post, I'll give you a shot attempt. When you hit the frickin' plaque 3 feet above the goalie, that's not a shot attempt. That's a whip.
A lot of those times when that happens, though, like the shot's deflected.
You can't hit the net. Come on. Guys can't shoot. Why don't they go and just practice shooting at the net? I've been telling you that all year.
I love this. Guys in the NHL can't shoot.
They can't. How many times they miss the net?
Let's get some NHL guys on this show. I can't wait.
I'm bringing them in there. How come you guys miss the net so much? How many? You're 10 feet away and you hit the referee.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. There's so many. Look at this shit. And you know what? And another thing is then they don't shoot enough because everyone gets so fucking pretty passing the puck around. So you get to the third period, you got, 21 shots to 19. What is this, the compulsories? Shoot the fucking puck. The other night when you guys won, what'd you guys have? 38 shots on goal. You guys come out firing. Once it started working.
Which team? New
Calgary?
York? Or Calgary, yeah.
Okay, and then even against the Rangers.
Calgary.
So even the Rangers.
Colorado, that was a little shooting game, though.
Yeah, but you know what? Everyone was going to the net. Like everyone, you know what I liked about that game? That's when I was asking you, when do you open it up? I was waiting for that Colorado-Toronto game to open up because they were trying to. Guys were trying to bust it through the middle. And then next thing you know, the pluggers would be out there. The third and fourth line of both teams.
They're playing game right for playoff hockey.
That's true, too. And nobody did nothing on those third or fourth lines. They kept each other neutral.
Yeah.
So it's up
Which
to
is what you want.
Yes. And then let your big boys go on and everyone says, did you see Matthews' goal? Shut up. How many times did he should have had other goals and he didn't? So the gods of hockey have given him one back.
4 goals in his last 4.
Okay, there you go. And not only that, when Buddy scored that goal, Lorentz, Think about the 2 bad luck times he's had before, and they hit the
and the
referee.
bad luck leading to that goal too is crazy.
There you go. And now the gods of hockey have said, here's one back. You ever see a goal like that, though?
No.
With the referee doing that?
I felt bad for that ref too. He just made the wrong call, where he kind of dove into it. He
was trying to get out of the way, which is the right move.
Yeah, he just made a bad call. Whatever. I'm not gonna fault him for that. You're trying to get out of the way of a puck. Shit happens.
That's the part of the game that I'm saying, and I felt good for that for Lorentz because he's had a couple of moments before where it's like, oh shit, there's no luck in your place.
Actually, we should talk about other stuff in the league first. So, Ovi 7 goals away from passing Gretzky now.
Keep going.
A couple weeks, it's going to be broken.
I agree.
Capitals, first team to clinch a playoff spot. Their 15th playoff appearance in the last 17 seasons. Why are people still doubting Washington?
I'm not. You already heard my rant. I can't doubt them. So the house that happens is saying, we might get Montreal in the first round. So I don't want to pump their tires too big because that's what I'm going to have to get into. But if we make the playoffs, who are we going to get?
Probably Washington.
We're probably going to get Washington, which is going to say, are they going to win a first rounder? I'll be changing my mind once playoffs start.
Montreal's the number 8 seed, has upset Washington before.
Yes, okay, but let's not get there. The thing is, the subject matter is, why isn't Washington?
I'm trying to help you out, buddy.
Okay, well, that's the saying. There'll be a different talk when the playoffs start.
It's not like you guys are going to play the Leafs.
Oh, I'm so hoping we would in the first round. That would be just
I'll get the broom.
Okay, well, that's what you guys say every time. You haven't beat us in the playoffs since when? It's 1970. No, when?
67 probably.
Yeah. You haven't beat it.
Mind you, there hasn't been too many times since that they've played each other.
Ask your mom about the Harold Ballard days. She'll explain it to you.
She wasn't watching too much hockey in those days, I don't think.
Ballard ran. Let's get away from Boston.
But according to you, Ballard was also a great owner, so.
Not a great owner, but I liked his business acumen. But look what he did. You know, the history has shown bad time to move. He ran from Montreal and Boston. Who'd run smack into? St. Louis, Detroit, and Chicago.
It was a bad division.
Yeah, but I mean, those guys were killing each other in those days. That's when they sharpened the sticks before the games. But that's another story.
Either way, Sid passes Gretzky for 4th in all-time points with record. One franchise, 1670.
Great.
Lemieux in 3rd with 1723. Yzerman 2nd, 1755. Gordie Howe has a record 1809. So a couple seasons that could be Sid's record. And Sid also tied Gretzky for most point per game seasons, 19.
Good for, and it's guaranteed now because he's over, right?
Yeah.
So it's guaranteed.
So next season, if he's point per game again, he has the record.
Yeah, I'll have the record. Oh, he should. He's looking like Mount Rushmore shit.
I've been saying that. I've been saying that.
He's a great hockey player, no doubt about it.
Now, should we get to the Leafs?
No, got a couple other things to say. When you're looking around the league and who's going, and we picked up players and stuff, we have to talk more about Colorado in this respect. Makar is going to be the Norris Trophy winner, no doubt. Columbus is falling off the cliff.
Columbus, I guess so.
And then Werenski's the only other guy, and Quinn Hughes is banged up. Makar's got 25
where you are
goals
in the standings
has
nothing to do with the Norris.
Look where Colorado is now, and
I'm just saying it's got nothing to do with the Norris. If you look at the criteria, it's most outstanding defenseman. Nothing about being valuable to your team. Nothing about your team.
Most outstanding defenseman in the NHL this year is Cale Makar. I'll argue that to the cows.
Debatable.
Okay, well, we'll argue about it when he gets to Norris, okay? So, we're talking about how well-run teams are. I'm starting to think that the Avalanches are very, very clever. First of all, they got Rania. They're very, very clever. Now, there's two things that we got to remember about adding players. Labushkin, or whatever that guy, the guy with the drinking problem.
Nichushkin.
He's coming back in a big way.
Well, he was huge for them when they won the Cup.
There you go. But now he's starting to look like that guy again. You see him getting the Leafs getting him the other night. You noticed him. He was playing
scored.
Great. There you go. And he should have had a couple other ones, which we'll get to in a bit. But so that's a player that you could add on. That like he got picked up at the trade deadline or something. So they added him.
Landeskog's training with the team again. If he comes back into the lineup, that is going to be huge for them.
So that's what I'm saying. They let Rantanen go. They're worried about their solid crap down the road because they want to be continuous. They don't want to hit the wall.
And they got to worry about paying Makar.
And they still got to pay Makar. So guess what? Labushkin's under contract.
Nichushkin,
how do you say his name? And Landeskog was under contract. And the salary cap's going up. Yeah. So they're safe from there. They got the money to pay Makar. And McKinnon's already under contract. Good management out there in Colorado.
And they fixed their goaltending earlier in the season.
Earlier in the year, the way they go. And they've already signed Blackwood. He's already gone there too. So everything they're doing, and they're on the rise. Like, honestly, that Leaf Colorado game the other night was one of the best games I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was.
Highly entertaining. Looked like a playoff game. Both teams were going for it. Both goalies played great. could have gone either way. I thought Toronto had a little bit more on the edge because what they started doing was shooting the puck. Maybe Berube's yelling from the bench because you notice that's one of the Toronto things is they pass, and it doesn't work, and they all start fucking shooting the puck. I think that's going well for Toronto. As for a couple other teams,
I don't mind that strategy.
No,
because that obviously passing the possession is their game, obviously, and if that's not working, well, just
drive and go.
Fire it,
yeah, that's what I'm saying was going there. Another thing, this is what I want to bring up really quickly is let's not sleep on Washington. I mean,
Scherzer pitching for the Jays? Is this live?
Yes, it is.
Oh wow, okay, that's good. Either way, sorry to disrupt.
No problem. That's a good thing if it is, because he wants to get in the lineup. Yes, he is. That's right. Yeah. No, that's a good thing. Great. So you can't sleep on the Lightning, and I'll give you the reason right now. I'll give you 4 reasons right now. Hedman, Cernak, McDonough, and Radish.
Oh, the big guys in the back end.
Oh, yeah. That I'll give it to you right then. And Vasilevsky's having his best year in a few years.
Yeah.
Look at their scoring up front. They got solid. They're solid up front. So, I mean, it's taken them a while to figure it out and get it all together, maybe because they're a veteran team, but they're tightening up the screws and stuff like that. If Tampa Bay goes to the finals, I'm not going to bet them on to do it, but if they happen to get there, I will not be surprised because they got enough scoring to do it. They're a fast team, but look at their back end.
Yeah.
How many teams around the league can have that back end? Only a couple.
The Leafs.
But they're not as fast as though. You know what I mean? Like those guys are a little bit more offensive, like the Hedman and this Cernak and that Radish guy. But even though
Cernak's more of a defensive guy.
Yeah, but I'm saying this Radish guy can go to the net.
McDonough, he doesn't put up the points like he used to anymore.
But he's a playoff veteran. He knows where to shoot.
He's one of the best defensive defensemen in the league. I'm with you there, but like
all around, I think he's one of the better guys. But
he doesn't. The puck moving, I don't think is there anymore.
Not as the way it used to be. Yeah. I agree with that. But he's great. The last 2 minutes of the game, is he on the ice?
Probably is.
Okay, but the thing about you guys that I'm saying is that O'Reilly's got to bring up his scoring game. Yeah, O'Reilly. He's got to pick up his scoring game because your number one tandem is McCabe and Tanev. And I'll take them all day. But they're not going to be the offensive guys. Like they may.
No, but Riley has been playing better with Carlo with him.
Yes, because he's got the guy to stay back.
It's been a proven formula in the last few playoffs, having with Lyubushkin or Shen.
Yeah.
I'm expecting the same thing from Carlo, and I think Riley's going to have another big playoffs.
I'm expecting that, too. I think that Carlo has been the addition that they made, and they were smart this year. Because remember a couple of years ago, when they traded 7 guys that won the playoffs with 7 new guys in the lineup, and I go, that's not the formula. And
they won a playoff game around that year, though.
But still, there was way too many players. I think they added this year that was subtle.
Well, they got rid of Engvall, though, so I mean.
Yeah, that worked out well, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
But I'm saying, like, the Leafs are close to having that formula, too, in this way. You got Benoit, who's a nut.
Yes, he is.
So don't worry about anybody picking
him and
it
Ekman Larson, I think, is a sneaky good pair.
Oh, I do, too. And not only that, they're looking around for guys. What, you guys causing trouble? You looking at Marner that way? So don't worry about someone says, well, what about the Ryan Reeves presence? That project is over.
No, he's
you
with
don't
the Marlies.
have to worry about that. He ain't coming back. You got enough toughness on your team to deal with it. Nyes ain't going to let nobody pushing him around. Matthews is actually hitting guys late in the year. Domi will punch the shit out of everybody that he's worried about. McNabb or McNabb, what's his name? He's not afraid to go in the corner. Jason Robertson isn't afraid to go in the corner. Nick, whatever his name is, his brother's Jason. Nick Robertson isn't afraid to go into a corner. Nylander is just going to be nothing over here to look at. Nothing over here.
Marner's starting to go into the corners now to retrieve
Marner's
the puck
going in there, knocking Bart down. He's not afraid. They all got bigger. So I don't think the toughness factor is a thing that Toronto should worry about anymore. Because I've heard people on the street telling me, oh, Marner's okay until the playoffs come and he gets pushed around. That's all I hear in my neighborhood, in Etobicoke, the heart of Leaf Nation. And I keep, my answer is, send him to Montreal. That's all you got.
I know we heard that message from him before. That doesn't sound like he's too keen on coming to Montreal.
He should be happy I'm walking his dog.
He appreciated that. He loves that. He loves Stanley.
Yes, I noticed that. But come on, Mitch, we got a month or two to talk about this. So we'll get back to that. All right. The only other thing that I'm going to say about the other teams in the league, and we should really talk about it, is this. I'm still not buying into, I hope like hell that happens, but you remember about a month ago I said, I'm not betting on the Habs to make the playoffs. Okay?
Yeah.
I want them to play meaningful games. We're here now. We're playing meaningful games. If we got in, this is a huge step for the organization. But what if we step in this year and then don't make it next year because we're still young? 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's what I'm worried about. But I think we have the foundation to go forward because Montalban is turning out to be that number one goalie that you really need. And the kid could be good too. You know what I mean?
That's gonna be the key if you can have like that balance, right?
Yeah,
because you need it's that 2-goalie system.
Oh, it has to work. And the
team that figured that out about 10 years ago now, Pittsburgh. They had Fleury and Matt Murray.
There you go. And not only that, this Doobie guy in Montreal, he's solid too as a kid. He's only going to get better. So you know what I mean? So we're there. The thing is like Pierre Brent said it, and you told me he said it, and I keep seeing it coming up. Montreal's not a very good team, but they keep winning.
Scrappy.
And work like bastards, because
that was kind of their MO when they were like kind of putting it together. Was it 15, 20 years ago? Those years? Yeah, it was a team of fourth liners, but
you play like crazy. But now I'm going to apologize because you always see the evolutions of players. We finally do have a number one line. Remember beginning of the year, I said we got the best number two line in the world? The advancement of Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slafkovsky. Come on. The way all those she's playing, and Nick Suzuki is clever, strong. Is that the word? He doesn't get muscled off the puck.
Yeah.
You're not going to knock anybody down on his ass, but he plays good in traffic, which is interesting for a guy like that. But you notice lately he plays great in traffic.
I've never had a problem with Nick Suzuki.
Like the way he's gone up, he's better than a point a game now. So I'm just saying this. If we make it, we're going to make it on piss and vinegar, because one thing I'm telling you about making that line, you know one of the lines that carries us? And I told you about that's why I always like that Domi, McMahon, Robertson line.
Oh, you guys the Gallagher line?
Gallagher, Anderson, and Dvorak. And what have they done when they moved Gallagher to the other line and they moved the Heineman kid up because he can score? Sometimes they switch it up like that. Evans has played better. The thing about Montreal is we've only got, who's our number one defenseman? Oh, that left winger.
But at least they don't have him playing with Matheson anymore.
No, that's a huge difference. We couldn't have that anymore. But
you guys need to figure out your second line, though.
We got a great first line and a great third line.
Getting there.
Who is our second line? Look at that guy.
Right now, it's Newhook, Line and Joshua Roy.
If they all tie their skates at the same time, I love it. Line should be a 40-goal scorer on his ear. Has that guy got the stamina to go up and down the ice more than twice in a shift? No, but he's got
a power play specialist at this point.
And you know what, though? He's been passing the puck better on 5-5. And he's been responsible lately, which is all we can ask for him.
Yeah.
But that's our second line. And you're only saying that because Laine's on it and he's a 40-goal scorer. Otherwise, around the league.
When was the last time he scored 40 goals? I believe it was his second year.
I didn't have Stanley.
There you go.
Let's just put that time on it. Okay, yeah, I know what you're saying. So
2018.
It's been a while. My take on the matter is this. The Habs are one of those teams that some nights you outwork the other team. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always work for you because I'm sleeping on St. Patrick and the New York Islanders. That game was great the other night. The Islanders and the Habs, they just went for it. It was like one of those fights. We're going to swing. We're going to get middle of the ring. We don't need any octagon. We just need eight feet in front of us, and let's go. And Montreal came back and scored. Great goal. Then we blew it in overtime.
Yep.
Blew it in overtime, which was great for the Islanders because what's the Islanders lineup?
I mean,
Patrick's got him. Go, guys. Go.
Yeah, because Barzal is hurt. He's on IR. Varlamov is hurt.
Brock Nelson got sent out of town.
Yep.
Look at their lineup. Half those guys I don't even know.
Well, they still have Anders Lee. They got Bo Horvat. They got Duclair, who I think is underrated.
What's his name? That Swedish guy. I think he's really good. Ehlers. What's his name? How do you spell it? EHLERS. Is that how you spell his name?
No, Ehlers isn't on the Islanders.
What's the first guy's name you said? I never say it.
Well, I was saying, Anders Lee.
Anders Lee. Yeah. That's whatever his name is.
Isn't he American?
I don't know what he is, but I mean, he's a scrappy little player.
Yeah.
I don't think they have enough, though, and they're not big enough, but they play Patrick
Yeah, he's American, Anders Lee.
When they play that style, though, the Islanders' style is, let's just go for it because we got nothing to lose.
Yep.
Like, you ever see them play? They come out, let's go, and some nights it kills them. Because they have to break down in their own zone. All of a sudden, the end first period, they're down 3-0. That's what makes Patrick nuts because that's a gambling, like you said previously, that's a dangerous way to play. Yep. Your defense don't hold up.
The winners of their last three, 9th place in the Eastern Conference. Them and the Rangers just 2 points back of the Habs.
And I think Islanders have a game in hand, don't they?
No.
It's all even?
Yeah. Rangers, you guys have games up on the Rangers, though.
Fuck the New York Rangers. They're little soft bitches. Go away.
The thing is, they have a favorable schedule, and they have arguably the best goalie in the world.
Okay, I agree with that. But the rest of these schmucks better get going. I don't feel sorry for the New York Rangers.
Nor should you.
You were the Adams winner last year, weren't you?
Sorry. The old division names are a little.
Whatever. But weren't they?
Yeah, they went to the conference final.
Yeah, and didn't they win the most points in the league last year?
Oh, the President's Trophy?
President's Trophy. Didn't they win it last year?
Oh, maybe.
Or was it the Jets? No, the Jets didn't get it. I think I won it last year.
It was the Rangers, yeah.
But they were soft as freaking, I don't know, slime. Come on. They just didn't. And what happened to them? When you're soft, you don't go there. I don't care how good of goalie you are. If you're getting your ass kicked every night.
Yeah, it was the New York Rangers.
Yeah, and where do they go now for missing the playoffs?
Well, everything's just a disastrous season for them. Columbus falling apart down the stretch. Losers of their last 6 in a row.
That's why Werenski can't win the Norris. I know he's still good, but he's the most outstanding defensive player.
Yeah.
I think it's Makar still. Up there. Werenski's okay, but look at him lately.
He's leading his team in points, too.
That's why Columbus is going nowhere. They got no one to score for him. I think they're a year
But
away.
that's not true, though, because we were talking about earlier how they have all this balanced scoring.
And they end up scoring 5 goals and winning 5-4 or 6-5 because I thought their defense is a little better.
Their goaltending's a little
it's
too.
suspect. But they're another team which bodes well for the future because they got a bunch of guys that can score all over the place. They're all going crazy. It's just that the defense isn't working for them right now, and I think they're done. Detroit. What about the Red Wings?
Oh, they're falling apart, too. They've been so streaky. 2-8 in their last 10.
Oh, where did that happen?
Unbelievable. I honestly, though, for this number 8 seed in the East, I think it's just going to come down to whoever's the hottest down the stretch. Montreal, New York, New York,
the last
Detroit.
10 games. What do you do in your last 10 games? That's what's going to, and I agree with that totally. But
Columbus still has a chance to save it.
Oh, I'm not saying they're out of it. I'm just saying that, and they've got a game in hand.
I have a feeling, though, Columbus, after that streak, they're going to finish as, the number 9 seed.
And not only that, they're going to need some scoring going down the stretch, and people are checking them to death. Who's their go-to guy?
That's the thing.
Oh, see, at least in Montreal, we got a go-to line.
They have that Marchenko guy who's got 25 goals.
He's going to score 40 one year.
Probably.
He's a goal scorer. He's going to do it. But it's the same thing in the West now. How did St. Louis rise up to get there? Before going to Toronto.
Piss and vinegar.
How in the hell did they get there? But, I mean, they got other teams.
I don't know, just having Braden Shen in the, whatever, in the trade rumors, that just, fired that team up, or I don't know.
Something went on in Wade.
Binnington, I don't know, post-Canada form.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but what do you say there? That's going to knock out Vancouver or Calgary.
Vancouver and Calgary have games in hand on them, though.
That's what I'm saying. So they should be able to, one of them should be able to jump them. Or that's a word around the camp.
I'm hoping it's one of the Canadian teams.
Oh, I'm hoping so, too. But it's just funny that St. Louis has played this hard to get there.
I mean, they were kind of hanging around the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
They were 9-10 the whole season.
Yeah. They were always in and around there. And you know what? They got to, I think that Vancouver or Calgary's got to play St. Louis once or twice before the rest of the year.
Yeah, let me double check that.
They got.
So Vancouver does not play St. Louis down the stretch.
Isn't Calgary then? Is it?
Possibly. Let me see.
I'm to believe.
No, they do not.
So they're all free? So that means St. Louis has probably got the easiest schedule going.
Let's see, because I think Vancouver and Calgary both play the California teams a couple times.
Yes.
Okay, but St. Louis plays Nashville a couple more times. They play Pittsburgh, who's actually been pretty hot.
They play Chicago.
No. Oh, tonight they do. Yes, they do.
They play Chicago.
And then they play Seattle as well down the stretch, and Detroit.
That's an easier schedule. Yeah. They could pull it off.
Well, I mean,
I hope not. I really like to see, because you know what? Vancouver's been a train wreck all year, and they're a better team that their record is showing.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And for the organization, look where they were last year, and they got bushwhacked in the playoffs. So this will be a fall. If they miss the playoffs, that's a huge step back for the organization.
I agree.
And part of it will be the...
they got to trade Pettersson in the offseason.
He's been playing better lately.
Nah, still. They'll get his trade value up.
Okay. Get rid of him. Now, let's get down. We talk about every thing. Now, let's get to the crux of the biscuit before we're out of here. What's going on with your Toronto Maple Leafs? Last week, everybody was dying in the city. Oh, my God, it's the end of the world. The sky is falling. Who's going to be our goalie? What's right? Austin Matthews. Can't that guy score? Who's in the press box? Oh, my God. Win 3 in a row. Did you start the parade route yet?
Yeah, I got it all planned.
This city is unbelievable.
Well, it starts with the media, but we won't get into that.
Yes, my God.
Leafs Sens game, that was a frustrating one to watch. Bad officiating. I don't get Ottawa's getting away with interference, like all this shit. And then, like, Ekman-Larsson gets called for the reverse hit even though the puck was right there. I don't get it.
I don't either. But,
I don't get that.
But you know what? I think that was one of the games that Toronto pulled a few stunts too, and it looked like the referee put the whistle away. But then when he did pull it out, well, why are you pulling it out now?
I didn't understand that.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it was one of those games. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like the Islander game the other night with Montreal. Not to change the subject. It got tight in the end. There was a couple of pull downs on both sides. Referee suddenly looked the other way. But that's how they were reffing the game for the whole time, so they didn't change it. We're in that Ottawa game. I thought all of a sudden, are they changing the officiating here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, Ottawa's getting away with shit. Okay, fine. You're going to call like that? Oh, one reverse hit. We got called for it. What?
Exactly. And it was a terrible call.
Yeah.
I thought it was a terrible call.
I was frustrated.
And at the time of the game, it was called. That's the part that gets you.
That was like midway through the third.
Thank you very much. That's what I said. Like, didn't we have already the standard set of how we're calling this game tonight? And then same thing happened in the Hab game. There was a pull down behind the net that was questionable on both teams. Neither got called. So
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that too. You know what I mean? Because of course I'm screaming at first because it's the Islander guy pulling them down. Why'd you call it penalty, you son of a bitch? And Savard goes behind the net. No, because they missed that one. We're okay. We're even. Okay. You know what I mean? And then that takes away from the get even call.
Exactly.
You know, and does that drive you nuts when the announcers go, oh, well, you knew that penalty was coming? What, was it in the fucking program? How many times you heard that? The announcers will say that openly. Oh, you knew that penalty was coming, didn't you? No, I'm not supposed to know that penalty's coming. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be steady across the board. No, the announcers are telling me. Did BET tell you that? Did any of those any of those betting sites tell you that? Did OLG tell you that? Oh yeah, penalty's coming. You know what I mean? Like, get your in-game bet in. That's what drives me freaking crazy when it's coming out of the box that you're listening to.
We know.
So, which was great because, when my best friend, Mr. Brannigan, I'll shout out to, he goes, isn't it time for music? We heard announcing going on a little bit. We turned off all the sounds and just put the tunes on.
Nice.
And pulled out the pipe. Not that pipe, but you know what I mean? And just said, let's call it, only because I think one of the announcers said something ridiculous like that. And we both looked at each other and said, yeah, let's put on that. Have you heard that Crusaders album I was telling you about? No, let's put on the Crusaders. We're good. You know what I mean? Because that makes me freaking think about it as your fan and how many years I've been watching hockey, and you're pretty dedicated now. Oh, we knew that penalty was coming. What is it like when you walk in the restaurant? I'm going to order a glass of wine, French onion soup, a Caesar salad, and a penalty. Come on. Drives me completely nuts, but that's another story.
So the next game, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Next game, Leafs smoked Calgary 6-2. Robertson took 2 penalties. That unsportsmanlike one was fucking terrible.
Okay.
No, come on, you're shooting it in, like, after the whistle? Like, come on. You gotta be smarter than that. If it wasn't for that goal he scored later in that game, he would have been a healthy scratch that next game for sure.
Oh, I've seen my phone blew up. I just I'm trying to defend the guy every day. I'm defending my guy, and I took my phone and I went, you know what? I'll wait till the end of the game. Okay, I knew you were livid because I'm going, oh shit, what's going on here? Okay,
that was just like the brain fucking escaped your head moment.
That's a midget move when you're pissed off. Yeah, and the best guy in the team.
What was he pissed off about? Like nothing. It was ridiculous. Either way, Leafs pulled it off. Happy about that.
And you know what I say about that Calgary game? That was brewing. The Leafs were ready to just go out and spank somebody. Yeah. And, Calgary.
Because they're getting called out by the media the last week. Bad loss to Ottawa where you're frustrated, bad calls. Calgary,
Look how it just showed up at the right place at the right time, which was all good because one of the things that we've said on the show, and I'm glad that it showed up because he scored goals now, is the Austin Matthews conundrum. Like, I've heard
what conundrum?
Thank you. What conundrum? Like, I've heard some of the biggest sports people in this city and in the newspapers, what's wrong with Austin Matthews? Well over a point a game against the first signed center every night playing a plus game. More shots on, more attempts, and even in the league now. Do you see that in the last 10 games? As many attempts as any player in the league, and that's including Pasternak, McKinnon. Who else am I missing? Draisaitl, Scalabrine, who's up there. Scalabrine, he's up there. When I heard all these numbers, God bless that kid. But so Matthews is doing all the metrics that are getting right. He doesn't score for a couple games, and like, what are we gonna do? Trade him? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm glad we didn't fall into that and you didn't fall into that, because I'm watching Matthews and I'm going, okay, maybe it was a wrist problem or some hand problem. I'm just saying the guy had some chances. He's hit some goal posts. Some of the best goalie saves in the last 3 weeks I've seen. The saves have been on Matthews.
Yeah, it's not from a lack of good attempts.
No. That's what I'm saying. When they show that part of it, I go, if this is the vaunted Toronto, we know everything about hockey media, why don't they take out that metric and say, hey, was the guy playing bad? If he was missing in action, okay, I could see something to say. But, Nylander didn't score that much in that time experience either. Were they saying anything about Nylander?
No.
Nothing to see over here. I think the Leafs are just fine, in my personal opinion, and I think that they're tightening it up at the right time. I really think that they should go balls in to win the division, though.
Well, I think they are. We play Tampa 2 more times and Florida 1 more time?
Yeah. So, and you got to win 2 out of 3 of those.
Yep. Leafs, so we mentioned they beat Colorado 2-1, very playoff-like game.
Excellent.
They clawed out a 4-3 win versus the Rangers. That new-look second line of McMahon, Tavares, and Nylander looked great. Nylander had 2 goals, Tavares 2 goals and an assist. Nylander's 2 assists, Tavares 2 goals and an assist, including point number 1100 for the future Hall of Famer.
Yes.
And McMahon a goal and an assist there. Nye scoring goal number 25 of the season, inching closer to that 30-goal mark.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, because you're not big on Domi being the third-line center, maybe that's what you're going to have to live with the rest of the year.
So that was actually on my notes. So
I took a look at
I
it.
might be wrong about Domi at third-line center.
His numbers aren't bad.
No.
And what he's doing.
And he's raised up his level lately.
Oh, damn right he has. But the thing about that line is I like the way that they skated with Robertson and McMahon and Domi. They're one of the lines that could open it up for Toronto, because the way they circle and skate and bang and go in the middle, I think putting Holmgren or Holmberg on the side with them takes away from that line, because Holmberg's just not that. He's linear. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think he could be your best fourth liner on the team personally, but maybe they should boot this Lawton guy up, which I'm going to tell you, you're going to get nothing out of this guy for your trade this year. I'm sorry.
That's a trade you got to defend.
Okay, I'm trying to defend it. I'm not seeing, like, you're paying that guy how much money to play in your fourth line?
$1.5 million.
That's not bad. I thought it was a little bit more. I thought it was 3.5.
Hey, for the playoffs, what do you need? Depth. And where's he play? Where does he play center?
How many games has he played?
With the Leafs?
Yeah. 8?
At least 7 or 8, yeah.
Hasn't shown me a thing in any of the
Then
games.
You're not watching close enough.
I have been watching close enough. He's responsible defensively. I'll give him that. But he was supposed to be a little bit of spark. Give you a little bit of spark to add a little bit of offense to your team. He's added shit on the offense.
Still finding out the chemistry with these guys.
Well, you got about 10 games to see what's going to happen, and I'm predicting this. That's a trade that you didn't have to make. Hopefully in the playoffs.
Center depth is something that you always need, and we got for next year too.
Okay, I like your positivity.
By the way, after the Leafs beat the Rangers, I didn't get a thank you text from you. I mean, the Leafs did the Habs a favor.
Listen, I told everybody.
I put in the call for Berube. I'm like, hey, Habs need this, Berube. Come on, do this one for Cruz.
Okay, and you know what I said last Saturday night to everybody in the neighborhood? I think I told you this, right? And those guys ducked me. I said we were rocking right after the podcast last week. I ran into my these guys have been Leaf fans since your grandmother came from Italy. Okay, right. Okay. Anyways, I said to them, I said, we're going to do you a favor tonight. They said, what do you mean going to do you a favor? I said, we're going to beat Florida, and you're going to beat Ottawa, and we're going to be all good. So you making this call in, you owed us one, because we gave you the chance on the weekend, and you guys screwed up. So we said thanks for the call, but we're good. We're good. So we helped you out. And what happened to Florida the last couple games, too? Are they snoozing, too?
I have no idea. Probably mix of that and, like, they're missing some guys.
Yeah, they're missing 3 guys that they all need. But the bottom line was, too, that game, too, that was a Montembeault game. The Florida-Montreal game was a great hockey game, but the difference in that game was Montembeault. Definitely. And Broski didn't play bad. It just said Montreal got a couple extra chances. What was the final of that game? 3-1, empty net goal? Yeah, an empty net goal. Great hockey game. Florida's not hurting. But let's get back to this.
A couple more things I want to say. I love having these 2 goalies.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's going to be the biggest difference in the playoffs, just having, like, 2 fucking stud goaltenders. One of them had, like, stubs his toe, just put in the other guy. You don't got to worry.
Well, I like the fact that they put Wall in against Colorado because they're starting to, what's Wall been up to lately? That's what Wall's been up to lately. I think people are too quick to jump because what you did is you got spoiled earlier in the year because your goaltending was so outrageously good and it helped you guys pack points that suddenly when you don't do it one game, oh my God, what's happening to our goaltending? And your goaltending wasn't that bad. Okay, the Vegas game. Well, that was a flying trip and shit went on. You know what I mean? The other games, it wasn't so bad. The Ottawa game we seen what happened in the Ottawa game. So I think you're a fan, but I mean, for a confidence level, put Wall in that game, he made some freaking big league saves.
I think and both of our guys are capable of doing that.
So I think it's very important that you guys balance them all the way down because I will give Jamie Noodles McLennan this break because he is a goaltender. He said it is significant as a goaltender to add on your playing time as your career goes on because there is a tendency to a fatigue factor with goalies. That he said, you condition yourself for this much. So Wall has played quite a bit in the minors. So I think that his workload has been a little bit stronger, but Stolarz is now in a position where he plays 3 more games. He's never played that many in a season.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm saying balancing them all the way in and go with the hot guy going in. Because Stolarz is there it is. Didn't they pay him for 2 years?
Yes.
So both your goalies are under contract for the next 2 years, right? And you got 5 defensemen that are under contract.
And they're going to bring back Benoit, so it's going to be the same 6 guys next year.
And what more do you want? And okay, none of those guys are Makar. None of those guys are freaking Quinn Hughes. None of those guys are Hiskinen. But guess what? You got 5 guys that everybody in the league wants on their team.
And we know what we're getting from them.
And you know what you're getting from them, which is huge to start your season, which brings me to this question. You play Tampa Bay in the first round. You lose in Game 7 in overtime. What do you do then? What does the city do?
That's such a stupid question. I hate dealing with hypotheticals.
I'm just saying, like, I want to be prepared because that's when I don't have to go outside. I can lock my door and stay inside because I think the city will get ugly.
I don't do hypotheticals.
Okay, so I'm just saying shit might happen. I might win the lottery tonight.
Exactly.
We'll be doing the show
so
I
might get shot when I leave here outside. What am I going to do? Like, this is stupid.
So, okay, that's only because you're a Leaf fan. Now, I'm going to put it to you this way. It's true. I love the way
Montreal loses the final 12 games of the season. What are you doing?
Then I'm going to go, it caught up with us. I'm a realist. I'm going to go, oh, shit, it caught up with us. Okay,
there we go.
Monteval can't stop 40 shots a night every night. Okay, I got it. But you guys are in a totally unique situation. And I'm only saying this from this point of view because I watch it so much. I really think that your top 4, those guys are great. Like average hockey fan, when I go out there, I don't think that you respect. I wish Marner was signed because then you never talk about Nylander or Matthews.
Are we talking about agents?
Let's get those guys out of here. Okay, let's get those guys out of here.
I'm sure he might have a thing or 12 to do with that.
So you've hit a bump in the road in this respect. The difference between Vladdy and Marner is this. Marner said we're not talking about it. You never hear a word. Vladdy can't shut up.
I know.
Okay, so we got an issue. We'll wait till the season starts and we see how it played out. Marner has been above and beyond a professional. Okay, so let's look at his life right now. He wants to be a lifelong Leaf. His wife's pregnant, is she not?
I believe so.
Congratulations, Mitch. So I'll be walking your dog double because you'll be busy with a new baby. Okay, so when you add in these factors there, you have one thing where you keep saying, I believe he's going to be here no matter what.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so at what number? Will he stay here for 12? Is that a hometown discount with a?
I'm not going to speculate on the number at this point.
Do you think you sign him back no matter what?
He'll be here.
No matter what?
He'll be here.
Okay, so now you let him go to June 1st. Okay? You let him go to July 1st. You haven't figured out what you're going to do.
I don't think he's going to get to July 1st.
I hope you don't for your sake. Because there's a couple of owners out there that they're saying, going to throw 14 at him, no questions asked.
He's not going to get there.
Couple of owners out there, they're not saying who. And you know one of the ones that are looking
Carolina.
Vegas. They're going to they can dump a couple contracts and throw in Mitch.
We'll see.
Okay.
This is way too early for this kind of conveation.
I'm just saying.
No, we're prepping for the playoffs and we're jumping to free agency.
Okay.
What I do love about the Leafs, though, is that we have a coach that's just doing some fine tuning with the lines after the deadline. Instead of putting the lines in a blender every fucking game.
Yeah.
Who do we got with Matthews tonight? Is it going to be Martyr and Nyes or Domi and Bertuzzi?
No, I agree with that. You're talking about your buddy.
Oh my God, Keith's last 2 years was so frustrating after the deadline.
No, I think that's the one thing that you guys have gone through, consistency. And now And now you got the consistency on the back end with your defensive pairings.
Yep.
And
those 6, they haven't even touched the lineups for those. Like just doing some fine tune with the forwards. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree because you got like Yangrock or whatever his name is. Yangrock. He needed to get back in the lineup and see what you got. Holmberg deserves some time on the ice too. I get it. So it's nice to have that depth though.
And the Leafs, they have some. If you look at, at first I was like, I don't know about their depth, but you look at who they have, and you're like, oh shit, like they actually have some underrated depth. Like they have like, I'd say they have like 9, 10D that I'm comfortable with.
9 or 10D.
Yeah, and then like with their
all
forwards,
the guys down in the Marlies,
like Riffai.
Yes.
Okay, well, Myers is a good 70, and then you got like Riffai, you got Matt Benning.
And he's young too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Well, not that young. But either way, right? I'm comfortable with him coming up in the lineup if need be. And then up front at forward, like you can run maybe like there's like maybe another like 3, 4, 5 guys that would look very comfortable in the Leafs lineup.
And the great thing is you got Ruby went down to the
and that's not counting Ryan Reeves.
Oh, okay. But anyways, we're on the campfire is like Keefe did the same thing, but Ruby's got the same thing. He went down to the coach of the Marlies and said, play like this so they'll be ready when they play here.
Well, that's just the way out is anyways with the Leafs and Marlies.
Yeah, I love that we do that. Now, the reason I keep bringing it up is I want to have a great spring in the city. And the great spring in the city, and we haven't had it for so long, is like I love the hype in the city when the Leafs are winning. So when's the last time they won 2 rounds?
2002. Sundin, Curtis Joseph, Darcy Tucker,
and
Caberlet,
and Jeff O'Neill. That's
Carolina. That's the year they beat us in the conference final.
And then when did he come to Toronto? 2 years later?
5. Yeah, but he never made the playoffs with the Leafs.
I know, he just came in bad. He just wanted to play for the Leafs so bad. I love a guy like that, though. That's one thing I love about that. I want to play for the Leafs. He took less money and then got dicked around when he got here by who was the coach at the time?
First was Pat Quinn, then Paul Maurice.
Oh, yeah, him, because then he had the Paul Maurice thing from before, whatever the case may be. But in any event, we're just hoping that they're going to do better. And I'm the reason I'm bringing these up and I'm pulling your chain and all that is because the hype is going on in this city right now. And everybody is hungry for something to happen. And if it doesn't, oh, my God. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going back to this, and I will try to keep it away because I am a huge Mitch Marner fan, as everybody can realize. I keep talking about is I just didn't like the way he was treated at the end of the season last year. I don't like the way that when people talk about him on the street sometimes. And my answer to them is every time is this. You got a tree around here where you can pick a Mitch Marner off? Is there a Mitch Marner tree around here? You just go up and pull the... Oh, when they out in the playoffs. What about a couple years ago when he was great in the playoffs?
Hold on. Well, I think the conversation around Mitch Marner this spring is going to be very different.
Because I think he'll be playing differently.
That's I think so, too.
That's what I'm hoping for. Because I don't know. Like I said, I'm in Etobicoke. I'm in the heart of Leaf Nation. First of all, they yell at me for wearing Habs gear. Then we talk about hockey. Okay, then they yell at me because my dog's got a Habs collar on. Then they talk about hockey. Okay, but the thing about it, and I love the passion in the people in this city for the Leafs. I just don't like the and or if or the but. I don't like that. I mean, you got these players. No matter what happens in your playoffs this year, you guys have got a foundation for the next couple of years to stay as competitive as you are right now. What's the hardest thing to do in the NHL? Maintain a consistent thing where you're always going to have a chance to go there. How many years in a row now have the Leafs made the playoffs? I think now they're the third. Was
like
7 or 8 in a row? Yeah. Okay, so now I think it's the third longest playoff streak in the NHL already. Think about that.
Tied for longest.
Or is it tied for the longest?
Well, it's
Boston's
them in Boston.
But once Boston
yeah, the Leafs are going to have it on their own now.
So the Leafs going to have it on their own? I thought that Vegas is on. No, Vegas missed the playoffs.
No, Vegas came in the year after.
And Colorado's missed the playoffs 1 year.
Yes, they did.
Because I think they're up there. But that's what I'm saying. LA missed the playoffs.
Yeah, they started making the playoffs after the Leafs had already made it. But
yeah, and then the New York Rangers have missed the playoffs once in there.
A couple times, yeah. Well, it's going to be a couple times now with this.
Yeah, so wow. So, like, that's what you always got to come back to. You want a place at the dance. You want to be invited to the dance. And the Leafs have done that consistently, and I don't see in the near future, that, like especially the next 5 years, all these guys are, like in 5 years from now, Matthews, Nylander, Marner, they're still going to be in their early 30s and still in their prime. So,
I think it's a real changing of the guard that's happening in the NHL right now, and I think the Leafs are going to be at the forefront of it.
That's what I'm saying. So my thing is when I'm out in the street and talking to me and this, oh, gee, what can the matter be? Slow down. Just hope you win, and we can all hope for the best. But I am looking at the time now, and I'm seeing my phone is going to go off any second here.
Yeah, so just a couple quick things. Leafs signed John Prokop to an ELC from Union College for next year. He will join the Marlies in a pro tryout for the rest of the season. Good chance Miro Heiskanen on Dallas is going to miss the first round of the playoffs, so that could be very interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. Pittsburgh and the Nashville Predators will be playing in Stockholm November 14 and 16 next season.
Yep.
And I guess we could just get to our Saturday night picks.
The crazy thing is, who could Dallas play in the first round?
Colorado. It's going to be Colorado.
Okay, that's a crazy thing.
That's conference finals in the first round.
That's what I'm saying. Now, before we go to our picks, the monkey in the room is this. And he's got a new beard and all, because everyone gets a beard these days. I can't even grow one. But did you hear Bettman's comments this week about the playoff format?
Yes, that's not changing. He's been firm on that.
Hardcore.
He's been firm on that, so I don't know why people are surprised.
I loved his answer. I loved his answers. He said, hey, we're playing playoff hockey right now. Now, the number one...
Mind you, I think we should be going to 1 through 8 instead of this quasi-division format that we're in, but...
That's why they question him. Because what happens is you lose a great team in the first round. But then Bettman's comeback is... How many times you get a great first round series that great? That's what brings fans' eyes to the table. He's got a point.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I was always of the old school.
I think if it's 1 through 8, though, you're going to get good first round matchups anyways.
I agree too. It should be that way, but he likes it that way.
Well, it's the owners that like it that way. That's who he represents.
Why do you think the owners like it so much?
The
Leafs being one that got burned by it more than twice when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, like, so what, the Leafs owners want that too?
Well, I think they're sold on building division rivalries. And
which is great, because in the tradition of American sports, it always came down to those division rivalries.
Keep it regional in the first couple rounds. I think that's why they want to do that.
Doing that, even though Tampa Bay and frickin' Toronto are far away from each other is what?
Well, both east.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay and Toronto plays in the same division in baseball, too.
Yeah, in the same time zone, so we'll give them that. So anyways, that's our talk about the Leafs. Big game tonight. Let's get our picks and get out of here.
Yes, so I'm on a 2-week win streak. I now lead the season series 10-9, and I'm up on the tiebreaker by 11.
And I sucked
with four weeks left to go. 4 weeks left to go.
Okay, I'm glad we got no screens on because the games have started, so we have got nothing on. We can see anything, right?
Nope. All right, so first up, Vancouver at the New York Rangers. I'm going to take Vancouver to steal it on the road.
Me too.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Philly at Dallas. I'm going to choose Dallas at home.
I got to take Dallas at home, and then it's Minnesota. I'm taking them at home because they all need these games.
Well, it's not about who needs it, but it's just Minnesota's playing Buffalo, so I'll just leave it at that. Chicago is at St. Louis. I'm going to choose St. Louis. They are on a heater, and Chicago also stinks.
So what's the prognosis on the generational superstar that's supposed to be in Chicago?
Let's give him a break.
I can't.
His team is so bad.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
You got to show something.
We're not okay. We're doing picks. We can't talk about this. Calgary at New York Islanders. I'm gonna choose Calgary to steal it on the road.
No, New York Islanders need it at home.
Calgary needs it too.
So no, New York. I'm St. Patrick, baby.
Carolina at LA. Carolina's on a heater, but LA is a great home team, so I'm gonna go with the Kings.
Wow. And you know what? I got to take a look at where that game is. That's going to be a Carolina against... Frick, what a game. I'm taking Carolina because I got better defense.
Whoa.
Carolina.
Okay. Florida at Washington. I'm going to choose Washington at home.
I'm saying Florida's going to go in there and beat them just to let you know that we're the Stanley Cup champions.
Okay. Tampa Bay at Utah. I'm going to choose Utah.
Tampa.
You're choosing Tampa?
All day.
Utah all day.
Why?
Tampa Bay, I don't believe in them.
Because you're a Toronto fan.
No, because Tampa Bay, I don't believe in them. And Utah's been pulling it up at home lately.
Okay, let's go to the house that happens here. Can we just, before we finish our pick, can we say one thing? I am known as the house hater. I have captured that role. But can you tell me, is there anything more hated in the house that happens than Andrew Milani and his love for the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Only my love for the Florida Panthers.
Only for you.
Colorado at Montreal. I'm going to choose Colorado steal on the road. Starry Cruz.
I got to take my Habs tonight. That's going to be a crazy game.
I think so, too. It's a tough call, but I think Colorado does it. Especially after that loss to Toronto, I think they're going to want to finish this Eastern road trip.
They're pissed. Yep.
Ottawa at New Jersey. I'm going to choose Ottawa to steal it.
Jersey, do you feel bad for him? No, you're a Sheldon Keefe guys. You're probably on Ottawa to win.
I never liked the Devils. So
I think the Devils are going to hold on to this one.
Okay. Toronto at Nashville. I'm going to choose Leafs all day.
Hat trick from Matthews tonight.
Ooh. Ooh, okay.
I see it getting smashed.
You gonna put some shekels on that?
I might do that. Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to smash them.
Detroit at Vegas. Speaking of smashing, I think I'm gonna choose Vegas.
My beloved Red Wings not looking good for you.
No.
No, I'm taking Vegas.
Seattle at Edmonton. I'm gonna choose the Oilers.
Me too.
Okay, and Boston at San Jose. I'm gonna choose San Jose. Boston's just been a mess.
I got to see Celebrini get more goals. And before we go now,
So you're on San Jose as well.
San Jose.
So you're
definitely.
Vancouver, Dallas, Minnesota, St. Louis, Islanders, Carolina, Florida, Tampa, Montreal, New Jersey, Toronto, Vegas, Edmonton, San Jose.
There we go.
Okay.
That's going to be interesting. One thing I got to say.
Best of luck to you.
No kidding. Bottom line is the last thing I want to bring up is not the fact that you hate Tampa Bay so badly, or I should give that.
Oh, why are we not talking about that?
Well, because you don't want to talk about the fact that generational superstar is doing shit. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So we're even. But I just want to end on this note. One of the most interesting things this year is actually the Rookie of the Year race in the NHL. It is absolutely fascinating when you think about it.
It's a three-way race.
100% could be 4 if you want, even though what's his name, Mitch Koff of Philadelphia seems to be falling off. But remember back in January, you said he could possibly be the guy.
It all comes down to who's going to score the most goals between, especially if it's Celebrini and Michkov.
Well, I heard another thing about it. How can you not give it to Wolf if Calgary makes it to the playoffs?
It's true.
How can you not give Wolf? He's got to get some votes. That's a goalie now. That's not a
He
scorer.
might not even get nominated, though.
That's
the
just
tough
insane.
Part.
But I mean,
it's a good rookie class, though.
Excellent rookie class. But I'm just saying this, and I know my guy Hudson's so far ahead and stuff like that. I still think he's got to learn more, and I'm going to say now, I'm starting to lean towards him. But the Celebrini kid, if San Jose was playing as good as Montreal right now, he'd probably have 35 goals. What's he got now?
At least 30.
At least 30, yes. Yeah. What's he got now, 20-something?
20-something, yeah.
Oh, that kid, and I'm predicting, and I'm saying it now, and you know what? Before we go, my worst case scenario already happened. It's drove me crazy.
What?
You know this is coming, right? The first 6 players for the Olympic team is going to be announced in fucking June. I threw something across the room. Did you hear it?
Is Marchand going to be one of the first 6?
Oh, stop it. You know it was announced, wasn't it?
I didn't see that. That completely slipped by my radar. And I will end this before we got to move off hockey and finish the show. I will say this about Bedard. When Colorado was shit, people were dragging McKinnon's dick through the dirt the same way. Remember that?
No, but McKinnon was playing tougher, though. He was doing more things.
People were dragging his dick through. Oh, he's not the real deal. It's the same talk. It's the same talk.
McKinnon,
that's my point.
Okay, look at the size of McKinnon. Look at the size of Bedard. Argument over.
No, it's not over.
McKinnon was still banging people and shit.
Okay, when Bedard scores 100 points the next year, we'll see.
2 years from now. 2 years.
Okay, either way. Thank you for proving my point.
We'll see.
Thank you for proving
I hope he is. I hope he is, because it's sad to see a player of that magnitude.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. We'll move this over to our trivia question, courtesy of Steven. Thank you, Steven.
How you doing, buddy?
Who is the current NHL goalie points leader this season? I actually think I heard this recently.
I did too. Gustafson.
Minnesota?
Yeah, it's a West goalie. Is it? I'll say Gustafson. Or no, let me else. Who else is out west? It's going to blow your mind. It might be the guy on San Jose.
No.
It's going to be somebody weird.
Georgiev?
Who scored a goal this year?
Pittsburgh's guy, wasn't it?
No, but somebody in the West scored. It's going to be a goalie. We're going to go, holy shit. It's not no Hellebuck.
No, it's not.
It's not one of those guys. No, I'm going to go with Gustafson.
Hold on, let me finish going through the teams
Who's on
here.
Dallas? Who's on Dallas?
Ottinger? I doubt it.
Ottinger? No, he's not the guy. I'm going to go with Gustafson. Look around. Is anybody missing? Who's playing on L.A.?
Kemper?
No, not Kemper.
Blackwood's
a good call. He's got a couple of assists.
Yeah.
Because remember, we passing out in the power play, shot up to McCarr and McKinnon in the net.
Shit.
I'm going to go with Gustafson.
Gustafson?
That's who I'm going with. Who do you like? Probably somebody in the East like Borowski, and I go, you dumbass. And it's not Sherskin.
No, I don't think so.
Not Montalban. It's not Bennington. It's not Logan Thomas.
This isn't right, but I'm going to say Dustin Wolf.
You know what? That could be scary good. That could be scary
So
good.
who's your pick?
I'm taking Gustafson.
Gustafson? The answer is Oh, okay. So he actually gave us the top 3. So it's a tie for number 1.
Okay.
So it's a tie for 1 and 3, actually. So number 3 tied with 3 assists. Peter Kochetkov on Carolina and Dustin Wolf.
Okay, Dustin Wolf was in there.
And then number 1, both these guys have a goal and 2 assists. Alex Nedeljkovic on Pittsburgh and Ilya Sorokin on the Islanders.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew it was on a shit team.
So technically, all these guys have 3 points, but 2 of them have scored goals, so they're technically
okay.
the
So
tiebreaker.
I should have thought of Sorokin because I knew it was. I didn't think it was a good goalie, but I knew it was somebody on a team that wasn't in the playoffs.
Great question, Steven.
Yes, most excellent as usual. As usual, a great question. So in any event, we've argued long enough. I'm supposed to be out of here. I'm probably keeping people waiting.
What is your game of the week?
My game of the week? It's going to be happening right this afternoon. Michigan against Texas A&M.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm actually looking for a couple of games this weekend. I'm really looking forward to Auburn against Creighton. All the games I'm looking forward to are happening in the next 2 days because I'm so locked into the tournament.
I'm going to say for me, Toronto-Baltimore, home opener on Thursday. Excuse me.
Great. Yes. I will agree with that too. That's another one in which I will be looking at very closely. It's a home opener. It's here, right?
Yes, it is.
It's here. Okay. Anything else you want to bring to the table?
Just forgot to thank my buddy Johan last night. Hosted a wonderful poker night.
Okay.
A lot of fun.
Did you win any money?
No, I did not.
That's a boo. I hope you didn't
I started
lose
off
left.
strong, and then I got a little aggressive in the middle.
Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, well. Learning experience.
In any event, before we get out of here, we're just going to tell one thing I'd like to say, and I said this to the wife. I'm going to start saying it every time I end the show. People, when you're out in the world, pay attention to your environment. It'll make you a better human being. In this respect, maybe you can help somebody. Maybe somebody can help you. Let's start saying we instead of me.
Absolutely.
Would be a great place to start. Anything else you'd like to bring?
That'll just about do it for this week. I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz, and what do?
We keep the vibe alive. You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart Radio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.